Cincinnati, the Kentucky Speedway. The Bluegrass State is all about horsepower. Normally it's the four-legged kind. Tonight it's four wheels. No saddle needed, but you will definitely want to hold on to the reins. It is go time for last year's champ. Hornaday is on the move while Peter stalls. Go, Johnny, go. Sauter climbs closer to Almirola. But with 8 to go, this is the horse everyone is chasing. Boy, are things hopping around here. Less than 2 months ago, the announcement was made that this track would be the newest one to host the big boys of Sprint Cup. And the first series to race here since that announcement was made, our very own Camping World trucks. Now that's some serious horsepower. The setup presented by Polaris is on. Hello everyone, welcome to the setup. I'm Krista Voda. The very first person I saw this morning, the CEO of the ownership of this track, Bruton Smith, and he could not wait to tell me all about the changes being made, the ticket sales, and the buzz that is going on about July. But hey, it's a big weekend right now, right here. If you just joined us for Truck Series qualifying, you know Austin Dillon is on the pole. His truck sits right behind me. The truck's just now starting to roll out to get into position. This is the second week in a row that the trucks have shared the track with the IRL. Last weekend, we were in Chicago. This week, we're here in Kentucky. Let's go ahead and take a look back at what went down in the Windy City.
Last week, the Camping World Truck Series swept into the Windy City for race 17. With momentum on his side, point leader Todd Bodine led the field to the green flag at Chicagoland.
Green flag in the air. We're underway from Chicagoland. Battle for the lead. Austin Dillon looking to the inside of Todd Bodine.
Here comes Kyle Busch looking for second.
Clear. All clear. Nice and smooth now. Nice and smooth.
I think he's going to get it from him down here in turn one. It looked like Todd Bodine just sort of rolled over and let Austin Dillon have the lead when he made that run on him.
Defending race winner Kyle Busch looked to be the class of the field early on.
No one's been able to get by Kyle Busch. He's got a 1.2 second lead over Austin Dillon. Caution just coming out for Shelby Howard, slow on the racetrack.
Make the hard left into the garage. It must have been a terminal engine problem. I'll be darned. Oh, Todd Bodine in the outside wall. No, Todd Bodine in the outside wall off of 2. I don't know if it did much damage. Looked like a little smoke there. A little pump of smoke maybe out over a bump or something like that.
Look bad on TV, dude.
Ricky Carmichael smoking under the hood.
Keep an eye on your gauges here. Stay down on the bottom.
Now we have problems. Top left of your screen. There's James Busher around.
All right, guys. Hold on there, James. Do what you can. The 3 got loose and clipped us. All right, we're rolling here, bud. We're rolling.
Yeah, James was able to keep it out of the inside wall. This doesn't have anything to do with a points battle, guys. This is Todd Bodine just wanting to put Kyle Busch away. You're not going to beat me tonight.
Todd Bodine trying to take the lead away from Kyle Busch.
Outside. Outside.
There's the wobble once again. Todd Bodine has to check up. Smoking the 17 of Timothy Peters. Wow. We're going to have a green-white checker finish.
A green-white checker with Kyle Busch and Todd Bodine. You know, I don't think Todd Bodine's championship season will be complete if he can't figure out some way, one race, to beat Kyle Busch.
The only driver to win at Chicagoland, and he will keep it perfect.
Good job. There we go.
Chicago is Kyle's town.
4 in a row. Congratulations.
You got it. We're going for 5 in Kentucky next week, so watch out.
A couple of changes this week. Up front, Johnny Sauter and Timothy Peters flip-flop, but a new name on this list, Justin Lofton, jumps up 2 positions into the top 10. The rookie is on a roll, but he's not the only one. Ray Dunlap is with the guy who was quickest in both practices this weekend and has the best seat in the house.
And Krista, that would be Kyle Busch. 4 poles, a great run for you earlier today, but I heard you in practice say this may be the best you've had for a truck all season. Is that true?
I don't know. Iowa was pretty good. It's tough to beat that truck, so we'll see. I'll let you know halfway through the race if we're leading or not. And, I'm really pleased with the track. It's got a lot of character to it, like I was saying earlier after qualifying, and just want to get that Bass Pro Shop Chevy out front and see if we can't set sail.
All right, he's got a great starting spot. Austin Dillon rolls from the pole. Adam?
And Justin Lofton, another one of those Rookie of the Year contenders, and still looking for that first win of 2010. You have experience here at Kentucky in the ARCA Series. How has that helped this weekend?
It's been a really big help. You know, we pretty much came with what we had in the ARCA car here last year, ran good. So when I showed up to the track, the number 7 visitpit.com Toyota Tundra was, you know, pretty well dialed in, just a few minor tweaks here and there. And Mark made some really good calls after practice for qualifying, and look for us up front tonight.
Justin Lofton, top 10 in points, no doubt plenty of momentum, but no one has Big Mo on their side like driver 18, Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch continues his winning ways.
Kyle Busch has become Bristol's first 3-time winner in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series.
Kyle Busch will win the Food City 250 tonight here at Bristol.
Kyle Busch will pull off the clean sweep at Bristol Motor Speedway.
2 wins in a row, the only driver to win at Chicagoland, and he will keep it perfect.
And 4 NASCAR victories in a row.
So Kyle Busch is going for 5 NASCAR race wins in a row. This race was not on your schedule originally. What made you decide to come to Kentucky?
Well, it didn't conflict with anything that we had going on in Atlanta. So practice was yesterday, the race is today. Nothing on track in Atlanta until tomorrow morning. So it fit. And Dollar General, you know, we talked to those guys and Rick and everybody, and they decided that they'd like to come out here and help us a little bit. So real proud to be driving the Dollar General Toyota. And I didn't try to make it look like the General Lee, but the Dollar General Toyota is pretty good. So we got, look at this thing. This baby catches some wild air. Wham! Yeah. Good thing I had some off-road experience from last week in Chicago. We were able to take care of it. But, you know, it's pretty fun to come out here to Kentucky, like this place. Hopefully we got a good run tonight.
Okay, because of that damage that was on the splitter, the guys had to work on it. You've got to go to the back again. You did it at Bristol. How much harder will it be here?
It's going to be difficult. I mean, aero comes into so much play here at this place. It's so flat, and you're going so fast, and you're turning a lot of the time around this racetrack. So it's going to be challenging, but hopefully when the nighttime comes, you know, our truck comes to life and stays as fast as it was yesterday. Hopefully I didn't hurt it any. I know that we had to make some changes to it and try to fix the crush panels and stuff like that. But all in all, you know, I feel like our Dollar General Toyota should still be pretty fast, and hopefully it's fast enough to get back to the front.
All right, we wish you good luck. Kyle Busch qualified 4th, but he'll have to come from the back, Krista.
Well, anytime Kyle's in the field, he is definitely a factor. Only 3 guys in this field have won here before: Hornaday, Skinner, and that man, Dennis Setzer. Speaking of Setzer, still to come, we will give you a closer look at his Kentucky win and tell you why the most recent Nationwide Series winner may have been moving even quicker that day. We'll explain. Plus, if your last name is Waltrip, you love this old Kentucky home, but which other tracks do our drivers circle on their calendars? Which ones are their favorites? And the kids are back in school. That means summer is nearly over. It's been a scorcher of a stretch for the Truck Series drivers, who has turned up the heat and who has melted under fire. Stick around. We are just getting warmed up. It's the setup on speed in Kentucky. The setup is presented by Polaris, the hardest working, smoothest riding off-road vehicles, now at your local dealer. Brought to you in part by Camping World. Visit campingworld.com and check out our entire lineup of checkered flag, race theme, and tailgate items. And by Edge Products, the leader in performance electronics. Here at Kentucky Speedway, outside turn 2, the machines are in the ready. Immediately following this weekend's races, work will begin on the additional seats going in for the July race. 40,000 more seats will be added to turns 1 and 4, and a new pit road, and the heavy equipment is ready. Welcome back inside the track. Those changes, of course, are in anticipation of 2011, but 6 years ago, actually, 5 years ago since now, well, it was a whole different sort of construction, or actually destruction, that was going on in this truck race. One driver nearly won, another driver took it away, and yet another driver was multitasking. The details are in today's vault.
On July 9, 2005, the Truck Series took to the track at the Kentucky Speedway. For most of the drivers, the race day started like any other. Bill Lester would have the fastest truck in qualifying and take home the pole. Terry Cook would lead most of the race, but a crash with less than 5 laps to go would rob him of a win.
Terry Cook's in the wall. Unbelievable. Our leader into the wall. This is the second time tonight we've seen this.
Dennis Setzer would take the lead for the green-white checkered win. However, for one driver, the day was much different. Rick Crawford, who made 210 consecutive Truck Series starts, would have an unfortunate wreck during qualifying that would send him to the hospital for further evaluation. The call would quickly be made to Speed's broadcast booth. Race analyst Boris said was there to answer the call and take the empty seat left by Crawford. Of course, getting into a cold seat is never easy work. Boris would wreck at lap 48 and, like a true competitor, return to the Speed broadcast booth.
And Ron Hornaday, the only two-time winner here at the Kentucky Speedway. You've got a great deal of experience at this place. Cooler temperatures tonight than what we had in practice last night. So what do you anticipate from the track?
Well, a lot more grip, but our 2.5 Easy Go Chevrolet's running pretty good. So just, we didn't do a qualifying run, and we are, terrible. We're about wrecked it. So hopefully we got a good setup for tonight. I mean, when it cools down, the track gains a lot more grip, and it's getting bumpier here. So all them Cup guys next year when they come here, it's going to be fun for them.
Hornaday starts 8th tonight. Ray?
And Johnny Sauter had a very, very fast truck in practice and in qualifying. Didn't quite get the pole, but like you said, it doesn't pay to win the pole.
Yeah, for sure. Just super proud of all the guys at ThorSport, and this is a truck we've had success with in the past. So got a really cool paint scheme on the truck tonight with Farm Paint jumping on board for this race. So got a lot of high expectations for tonight. I really do. The truck was really comfortable and race trim, and just happens to qualify good too. So this has been a Achilles heel for me, racetrack, I guess, over the past couple years, but we'll turn it around tonight.
What do they sell at farmpaint.com?
Paint.
For the farm.
I mean, the name says it all, so check it out, try13.com.
Okay, thanks. Johnny Sauter rolls off second tonight, Krista.
All right, thanks, Ray. Yeah, I have some tractors that could use painting, that's for sure. Hey, here on this show at this track, we've had some pretty big guests. American Idol winner Taylor Hicks and NFL superstar Randy Moss have joined us. But in this state, the name Waltrip is pretty big as well. And upstairs, Rick Allen and Phil Parsons will have their hands full trying to keep Mikey calm back in his home state. Good luck, guys.
Well, thanks, Krista. You know, when we saw the vault, I started flashing back myself, thinking about when I was 25 years old, what was the biggest accomplishment I had achieved? Well, I think myself, it was college graduate. And you had talked about maybe your nationwide race was probably the biggest one. And Mikey, you were right on the verge of getting your first nationwide win at the age of 25 as well. Well, how about Kyle Busch? At the age of 25, he has won 79 NASCAR races, going for 80 potentially tonight. How about that?
It's really hard to even fathom, but things are so different nowadays. Not that anybody has ever done anything like that before, nor would they ever approach that, but you can start racing at 4 or 5 years old with legend cars and stuff like that. Michael, you were talking earlier off camera that you had started racing when you were 12 years old in go-karts, but that was such a far cry from what these guys are able to do today. But the success that Kyle's had at such a young age is incredible.
Well, I can't imagine it. 79 wins by the time you're 25 years old. I'd almost won one race. That was going to be pretty good. I went on to win a few races in my career, but what he's done lately, especially, has kind of put an exclamation point on all that he's accomplished. Look at the names that he's on this list with. I mean, Richard Petty, David Pearson, my brother. I don't think I can put into words how good that record is and what that means.
And by the way, he probably has, 14, 15 years on everybody that's on that list. And I don't think he's done winning yet. As a matter of fact, he may not be done winning as far as today goes. Yeah. I mean, even though he's going to start from the back, which we just documented, he's certainly going to be one of the favorites here.
I appreciate him starting from the back, too. That Dukes of Hazzard move on the front straightaway, sending him to the tail end of this field. What he did at Bristol from the tail of the field was amazing to watch. So this is going to be some good TV and some great racing. This track here in Kentucky is very raceable. The fans are enthusiastic. These drivers feed off that enthusiasm, so we're in for a big night.
One of the other things about that graphic we just saw with Kyle Busch being on that list, I would say in October, when we vote for the Hall of Fame for the second year, there'll be at least 5 of those names on that list that will be in the Hall of Fame that he is joining on that list. Pretty impressive, Krista.
Some pretty elite company, yeah, definitely. Michael and his brother Daryl have actually had one of the biggest honors you can have in the Bluegrass State. That's making the Y, as the cheerleaders spell out Kentucky, at Wildcat basketball games. Now, Dario Franchitti's here with the Indy Racing League. His wife, Ashley, she's had the same honor. Well, in this week's Bumper to Bumper, we find out the why when it comes to our drivers' favorite racetracks.
Which one? Where are we racing next? I know a lot of people will think, oh, well, it's just because you won there or whatever, but Dover really has been my favorite track for a long time. The very first time I ever went there in a truck and in a nationwide car, I ran well, and I've just adapted well to that racetrack for whatever reason. I don't know, but I just like it. I like Bristol too, and it's a lot like Bristol, just bigger. It's a lot of fun to race on. It's really fun when the groove widens out and you can run the middle, and sometimes you can even run the top. So it's a fun track, and I like going there.
I've had a lot of good racetracks, but I guess if I had to just pick one racetrack that I had to go race at, Richmond, Virginia.
Atlanta. Atlanta is definitely my favorite racetrack. It hasn't been too good to me the last couple of years we went there, but I always love racing there because it's so fast on new tires. There's nothing like being able to slide something around, a race car around at 170, 180 miles an hour and have control of it. That's an awesome feeling.
One that always comes to the top of my head is Atlanta. That's one of my favorite tracks. I love it. I love going there. When I go to that place, I just get a great feeling. I mean, that whole week, my attitude is so good. Driving there, flying there, I just can't wait to get in the truck and go. It's just a great place.
I like the tracks that we go to, and we run really good. So I might say, well, I don't really like Martinsville, and then the next time we go to Martinsville, we might run really, really good, and all of a sudden I like Martinsville. So, you know, it kind of changes as you go. If you run bad, you don't like it that week.
You know, hey, I love them all. You know, I love to race. Yeah, I like them all. You know, they always said, hey, what's your favorite racetrack? You know, I love the short tracks. I love Martinsville. You know, when we did race at Richmond, Virginia, Mansfield, Ohio, you know, and I love the intermediates, Texas Motor Speedway, Charlotte Motor Speedway, Kansas. I mean, I love them all. I like Daytona, Talladega, Michigan. I mean, you know, wherever we go next, that's my favorite racetrack. I love to race, and no matter where we're at, just that competition, being able to get out there and trying to beat everybody is just, it's just so much fun, and I like them all.
Well, only one race at Kentucky has been won by a driver under the age of 30. The last 6 have been won by a driver over 45. Mike Skinner falls into that category. He won this race in 2007. Youth or experience, which will win out tonight? Hey, we told you the IndyCar guys are here. Tony Kanaan and Elio Castroneves taking in Truck Series pre-race introductions, talking to some of our guys. More from Kentucky still to come. All the stars are out. We're going to go racing. We'll get you closer next. The setup is presented by Polaris, the hardest working, smoothest riding off-road vehicles, now at your local dealer. Brought to you in part by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and by Lumber Liquidators, hardwood flooring for less. Welcome back to the Kentucky Speedway. This is the last race in our stretch of 9 in a row, and our theory was this summer stretch would make or break the championship. So has it.
When the trucks pulled into Iowa 2 months ago, it was widely believed that the 9-race summer stretch is where this year's champion would be decided.
We're going to run 9 races in a row, so things are going to get serious. Last year, Ron Hornaday went on a roll. There's guys that are in that exact shape right now. They need to get on a roll like that over these next 5 races to try to do something about Todd Bodine. He is solid, so it's going to take a strong team to be able to do anything with Todd this year.
But if the first race was any indication, it may not be that simple.
Eric Almirola, one of the championship contenders, up and into the wall in turn number 2. Timothy Peters' truck just erupting in smoke.
And this is the 3rd place man in the points race.
The 33 of Ron Hornaday just went behind the wall into the garage area.
He's got all kinds of left side damage, doesn't he?
Todd Bodine looked to pad his points lead when 3 of the top 5 drivers experienced problems. But an on-track scuffle and a short temper relegated Bodine to a 17th place finish.
As they were forming up for the restart, Todd began ramming the rear of the Brian Eichler truck. He's going to be majorly ticked when he has to make a penalty stop.
Pass through 50.
Penalty 4.
We're bumping the 18 on the backstretch.
He hit his brakes.
It's done, bud. We'll argue about it when it's over. Just get all you can get.
Consistency was key through the next 3 races. Bodine was able to maintain his lead and capitalize on his competitors' misfortunes.
something wrong with Hornaday's truck.
What's wrong with it? It might be the front sway bar is broken or come loose.
Yeah, it was the left front sway bar arm. Unfortunately, this is going to cost him a lap, and Hornaday is going to be behind the 8 ball.
And problems coming off of 2. Mario Goslin involved in this, as well as Narain Karthikeyan.
Once Goslin got loose, Almirola had nowhere to go.
Boy, look at the 51 of Eric Almirola. Comes in here second in points. This is going to be devastating.
But while racing for the lead in Pocono, trouble found Bodine once again.
Oh, he gets into the 30. The 30 is sideways. Can he save it? Todd Bodine was on the outside. Austin Dillon forcing the issue, got inside of the 30 and made contact.
Bodine was able to rebound from a 12th place finish in Pocono with back-to-back wins in Nashville and Darlington. The dual wins meant an 82-point gain in the standings, but no one is throwing in the towel just yet. As the summer stretch winds down, Bodine's lead has stretched to 236 points. But he'll be the first to point out that the trophy hasn't been engraved just yet.
That 236-point lead with 8 races to go, the largest ever for Todd Bodine. But you start 14th tonight. Any reason for concern?
Well, I don't know if there's reason for concern. We were pretty decent in practice, just really loose qualifying, and it's really hard to go fast here when you're loose. So we ended up back here 14th, but you know, everybody at Germain Racing's done a great job, and including Karen and Carrie. I know they're watching, but I think we'll be all right. We just got to be patient.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Krista?
Hard to believe there are any 1.5 mile tracks where Bodine hasn't won. This is one of them. This could be a turning point for someone tonight. We will get you ready for pre-race festivities. Drivers arriving at their trucks as we speak. Stick around.
In 2 weeks, the Camping World Truck Series heads north to the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Last year, a quick pit stop helped to put Kyle Busch in victory lane. Will a pit stop put somebody in victory lane this year, or will it put somebody in the back of the pack? Chris DeVota hosts the setup starting at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, followed by flag-to-flag coverage, only on Speed.
We are the only NASCAR show going on today. It is a doubleheader in Atlanta this weekend, and race day kicks off a big holiday special. So how do we know this one is going to be good tonight? Well, 5 of the last 6 races here have had a margin of victory of less than a second. When you are NASCAR's Blue Collar Series, racing hard on Labor Day weekend is a no-brainer. As we told you, Austin Dillon is on the pole. Grandpa Childress just arrived. He is there by the truck as well. Temperatures have dropped. The wind is picking up. The sky may be clear, but there is a storm brewing on this track, and you will see it right here on Speed right now.
From horses to horsepower, the Bluegrass State has a distinguished history in racing.
Things like on a rail, and not one rail, it's a 2-rail, just like Kentucky Hayrod.
Veterans.
The momentum is going to carry Dennis Setzer to the start-finish line, and he'll win the Built Ford Top 225.
That's the best race car I've ever had in my life.
NASCAR superstars.
The big volcano has just erupted one more time.
The Built Ford Top 225 has been claimed by Carl Edwards.
Way to go, Carl. Great job.
Truck Series champions.
Hornaday stays in front of Skinner. Hornaday will win again in Kentucky.
Bobby Hamilton in victory lane with the square D Dodge.
Mike Skinner will win at Kentucky.
They have all claimed checkers here. Who will make a run for victory lane in Kentucky? Find out next on Speed.
Horsepower is what it's all about when you come to Kentucky Speedway. Welcome to the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series Built Ford Tough 225, presented by the Greater Cincinnati Ford dealers on Speed. Gorgeous evening for racing in Sparta, Kentucky. 80 degrees. As Krista mentioned, the wind just picking up now. Over 16 miles per hour, partly cloudy, but no hint of precipitation for this evening's race. Well, Kyle Busch is back in the field, and once again, he will be here to start in the back of this field. And that didn't hurt him at Bristol. He started back in the back of the field, was able to come to the front. He's also had a history at this racetrack of coming from the back to the front in a nationwide race in 2004. Let's go trackside for our pre-race ceremonies.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, as we close closer to the race, we ask you to honor our country and freedom by standing for the remainder of our program. As has been tradition here at Kentucky Speedway, please welcome the Kentucky National Guard with the presentation of colors. Track Minister John Roberts now will offer today's invocation.
May we pray together? Our dear Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for such a beautiful evening. Father, we want to thank you for bringing this race so we can enjoy it. Father, we just want to thank you for the freedom that we live in this country. Father, we want to thank you and ask you for the blessing of safety upon the drivers, the crews, the fire and safety team, and NASCAR officials. Father, we pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Please welcome Miss Dwan Trent, our new Miss Kentucky, singing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, they proved through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All eyes to the sky as they're watching a skydiver bring in the flag on this holiday weekend from Kentucky Speedway as we're getting ready to take a big swing at who's going to win this one at Kentucky Speedway. Will it be Austin Dillon who starts up front, or will somebody be able to slow down Kyle Busch, who is trying for 5 wins in a row in the races that he has started? Stay with us here on Speed. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series is presented on Speed by Ford. Drive one. Brought to you in part by Camping World. Visit campingworld.com and check out our entire lineup of checkered flag, race themed, and tailgate items. And by Nature Valley granola bars. The taste nature intended. Welcome back to Kentucky Speedway. Now we go to Chris Devoto for our Polaris Reset-Up.
Well, now that we know the Cup Series is coming here next year, there are going to be a lot of eyes on this race tonight. So what do you need to keep a lookout for? Well, we already told you, keep your eyes on Kyle Busch. He is going for his 5th straight NASCAR win, 3 at Bristol and 1 in Chicago last week. Major changes in store for this racetrack for that July race. Construction of 40,000 seats will begin immediately following this weekend's races. And the Truck Series will be using those seats 2 times next year. It was just released today that the remaining date for the Truck Series will go to Kentucky. It's a triple header in July, and we will be back in October. You know, horse races begin with a call to the post. Our call to the post is the command to fire the engines. Rick, Phil, Michael, We are getting even closer to doing that tonight.
I always like the trumpet at the beginning of that call to the post, too. That's a lot of fun. Michael Waltrip, Phil Parsons, Rick Allen with you once again. We come to Kentucky Speedway, a 1.5 mile racetrack, but this one has a little more character than a lot of the tracks we go to.
Yeah, a lot of the racetracks like Atlanta, Charlotte are somewhat similar. This racetrack is a little flatter than most, and this racetrack is really, really rough. The bumps have really gotten worse. Todd Bodine told me he thought it was worse than it was last year, and it was bumpy last year. All the guys in the garage were talking about really struggling trying to make their trucks handle, Michael, over these bumps.
You know what's interesting? You've got these flatter corners like we talked about on a 1.5 mile track, but it's a sweeping track. I've raced here before, and you go down in the corner, and you almost feel like you're lost. There's so much room to wander around. And in qualifying, that's what they were doing, wandering around everywhere, hitting bumps, bouncing high on the track, some of them right down on the bottom. That's why this race is going to be so entertaining, figuring out which way to go and how to hop the bumps.
I was lost a lot on a lot of different racetracks.
Me and your friends, buddy, I know.
And Kyle Busch bumped so hard on his qualifying run that he actually had to fix his truck, and that's why he will start at the back of the field. Speaking of start, let's start the engines. We go for the command.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the most famous words in racing. You've been waiting for them. From Ford Motor Company, the F-150 marketing manager, please welcome Mark Lapine.
For all those built Ford tough truck owners, drivers, start your engines!
Okay, Austin, go ahead and fire it up here, bud. Fire it up, Earnhardt, fire it up.
I'm going to use angst as the word in that command. He was fired up. The engines are fired up. Crews letting their drivers know they're behind them. 100%. Who will get to victory lane first? Well, we're going to go for 225 here in Kentucky. Welcome back to Kentucky Speedway. It's the Built Ford Tough 225, the 18th race of a 25-race season for the Camping World Truck Series. As we see them rolling off of pit road and onto the racetrack, our starting grid will roll across the bottom of your screen. 4 poles for Austin Dillon in his young career, just 20 starts. And 4 times he will lead the field to the green flag, including tonight's. Johnny Sauter will be on his inside. Austin Dillon has chosen the outside line for his starting position. We take a look at our Z-Max track description.
As we talk about this racetrack, is banked a little bit less than most of the 1.5 miles, and as Austin Dillon said, Michael, this place has character.
It has a lot of character, and that fact that you can run so hard down into these flat corners, that gets your attention as a driver. You know, Rick, you go barreling into a corner 180, 85 miles an hour, and you see some banking there, you say, okay, I can lean on that. Here in Kentucky, you don't know how you're going to get through the corner, but these guys make it work.
14 degrees is relatively flat when you're going 180 miles an hour. I want to take a look at our Royal Purple race analysis.
As you can see, 36 trucks will start this race, 150 laps at pit window, somewhere between 55 and 60 laps in the purse, almost 600 grand.
These guys only had 4 sets of tires to get through this weekend with, so pit strategy, I think, will be interesting tonight to see how they use those tires.
It's time to shine a spotlight on a few different drivers in tonight's field. We'll begin with Ray Dunlap.
Well, Rick, I want to take a look at the 01 truck tonight. It'll be driven by Chris Lafferty. Now, Chris is only making his 7th start in this series, and to say that he's raced on a low budget would be somewhat of an understatement, but I think he's done a phenomenal job, and that's why the 01 team gave him a call. But yesterday in practice, he crashed their primary truck, and they had to bring back a backup. They didn't have one in the hauler, so they had to send to Charlotte. And they brought that truck in late last night. They worked in the motel parking lot to get this thing ready. I think these guys deserve a little spotlight shine just from a lot of hard work. Adam?
Donnie Leah is in the 90 truck this evening for Stringer Motorsports. He's made all but 5 starts in the Truck Series in 2010, but most of those have come for SS Greenlight Racing. He will be here and at New Hampshire. Brad Sweet normally drives this truck for Stringer Motorsports, but if things go well for Donnie Leah the next couple of weeks, we could see him more teaming up with Trip Bruce. Phil?
AA, I want to shine a spotlight on 22-year-old Will Kimmel. If his last name is familiar, it's because his uncle is 9-time ARCA champ Frank Kimmel. His dad, Bill, is Frank's crew chief. Will was the 2007 track champ at the super fast Salem Speedway. Will travel to Des Moines, Illinois after this race for the ARCA dirt track race here on Monday. He has sponsorship from Lucas Oil, Ansel Gloves, and Checkmate Boats for his debut here. Uncle Frank won here 4 times in the ARCA Series. Will just wants to learn and be around at the finish. He will start shotgun on the field. Michael?
Guys, I want to shine my light on this cat, Miguel Paluto. Miguel made his NASCAR Camping World Truck Series debut at Bristol just a couple weeks ago, where he finished in the 9th spot. Miguel is 27 years old, and he's from New Silver, Brazil. I talked to him earlier today, and he said he's been leaning heavily on Todd Bodine for information about how to race these 1.5 mile tracks. We're certainly at one of them tonight, and he's hoping all what he learned from Todd will pay off.
Michael, did he use Portuguese when he talked to you, or was it English?
Yeah, and I was translating in my mind exactly what all he was saying to me earlier today. But he's a really engaging young man and loves the fact that he's getting to race in the Truck Series.
Yeah, great opportunity. We're going to ride along with a few different drivers, one of those being Jennifer Jo Cobb. She'll carry our Ford on board, and she will start in the 30th spot.
We're also going to ride along with Jeffrey Earnhardt in the Fuel Dr. Chevy. Jeffrey's going to make his 2nd start here in the Camping World Truck Series, and he will start from the 22nd position.
What about Stacy Compton? He's rolling off from the 16th spot. This Gert, Virginia driver is in the Safe Auto Insurance Weiler.com Chevrolet for Jeff Weiler.
And the Toyota onboard being carried by Todd Bodine, our series points leader by a large margin, 236 points over the rest of the field. He will start 14th tonight. So we'll see if Todd Bodine can work his 1.5 mile magic here at Kentucky Speedway. Let's go back trackside to Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Rick. Tonight, Kyle Busch makes his 79th start in the Camping World Truck Series, but the 79 that I really want to talk about is the number of wins that he's had in all 3 of NASCAR's top divisions. Tonight, he goes for win number 80. That is a phenomenal, phenomenal number. I asked him who's been his most influential person. He said obviously his dad had a lot to do with it, and his brother Kurt, but he also looked up to Darrell Waltrip and Dale Earnhardt. It took those guys until they were 39 for Darrell to win 80, until he was 42 for Big Dale Earnhardt. Kyle Busch has a shot at winning 80 races, and he's only 25. Adam?
And Kyle Busch not the only driver enjoying an incredible 2010, Ray. You can put Todd Bodine on that list. He's the series point leader by a wide margin, 236 points. That's the biggest lead anyone's ever had with 8 races to go in Camping World Truck Series history. But his numbers here at Kentucky, not as good as other tracks. 5 starts, only 2 top 10s. The last 2 races here resulted in DNFs. Bodine rolls 14th tonight, hoping to take a step closer to his 2nd Truck Series title. Rick?
Thanks, Adam. The field all in line as they come out of turn number 4. Austin Dillon won the pole. He decided to take the outside line. Johnny Sauter's on his inside. Who will be able to hold off Kyle Busch? We're about to find out. Green flag in the air. Austin Dillon with a good start.
Gets a little crazy in the back there, Phil, when these guys take the green flag. They're all over each other. Kyle Busch tiptoed through that start, made his way safely into turn 1. Look at Johnny Sauter. He drives around the 3 truck of Austin Dillon and grabs the lead.
Looked like he flat-footed it through 1 and 2 that time. Michael's going to grab that lead.
That takes so much confidence to do, Phil. The last time they were in these trucks, they were in a quite a bit different configuration. Tape on the nose, air pressure all jacked up. They were set to go wide open. When you do it in race trim, that's a day's work.
And you look out the windshield and you saw sunshine. Now you see nighttime.
On the right of your screen, you saw Kyle Busch just crossing the stripe for his first lap. Again, 150 laps. Kyle Busch had to start in the back because during qualifying, he went down onto the apron, hit very hard, did some damage to the truck. They had to fix it. Johnny Sauter out in front now of Austin Dillon, Ron Hornaday, Eric Almirola, and Matt Crafton are your top 5. As you see, still Kyle making his moves through the back of the field.
Kyle was 27th after lap number 1 from starting at the back of the field, and he's already passed more trucks since then.
That's fun stuff right there. When you got a truck that fast and you have to start in the back and you just weave it through people, that feels good. That's what you sign up to drive race cars for, is to pass people. And Kyle's done his share of that in his 25 years, as we talked about at the start of the show.
Already we're seeing multiple grooves. Now, are the crew chiefs logging in their memory bank that start? Austin Dillon chose the outside. Doesn't seem to have worked for him. Johnny Sauter got the lead off of turn 2.
I think it was a situation where Johnny just drove it down in and drove it harder through that corner. I think Austin may have been a little tentative, which he should be. Hey, this is a 150-lap race. You're not going to win this race on lap number 1.
Plus, Johnny Sauter has driven down into turn 1 a lot more times than Austin Dillon has. Austin's a rookie at this. this. While he's been quite impressive, I think that's why sometimes we forget that he's so raw. He went down in turn 1, like you said, Phil, aired on the side of conservative, and Johnny Sauter was able to grab the lead. But I think Austin's got a faster truck. He's all over our leader. This is our battle for the 10th spot.
Todd Bodine actually took 9th away from Lofton, so he's moved up. This is 11th and 12th. You see Ricky Carmichael just in front of Jason White.
Ricky Carmichael's in need of some good luck here. Had nothing but bad luck the last 6 or 8 races after such a great start to the 2010 season.
Man, if you remember that crash at Darlington, that was a hard hit. He was just a victim of a guy spinning out, catching a little bit of the wall, and then clipping his right rear and turning him head on into the outside wall. Those get your attention when you look up and that wall's coming at you at that angle.
Johnny Sauter coming to the stripe now to complete lap number 5 of 150. And all over his back bumper, we're seeing Austin Dillon close the gap.
Look at Austin, those trucks bouncing around, but Austin keeps his truck pointed to the inside of Johnny's. That's a good sign, especially early in the race. He's able to keep turning, keep that thing lower than Johnny. There's fresh air down there. We talk a lot about an aero push, and if you're right in the tire tracks of the guy ahead of you, your truck's gonna push more because he's taking all your air away. But it looks like Austin's able to keep his nose peaked down low and keep a little fresh air on it.
And a lot of the drivers talking about that exact same thing in the garage here. Here's Kyle Busch as he continues to motor towards the front. He gets by the 2 of Shelby Howard, or attempting to get by the 2 of Shelby Howard. Right now, Kyle's being shown in the 19th position.
The trucks are going to get tougher and tougher to pass, as we well know. But, you know, at Bristol, this team elected to use a little bit of pit strategy. They got on pit road, got their pitting done, and that enabled them to pass a lot of trucks in the pits, 3 wide into turn 3. That's how you pass a lot of trucks, too. But I don't know if there's going to be a chance like that here tonight, Phil. These guys will pretty much be on the same strategy, I would think.
I think so, too. I think he's just going to rely on having a good truck, have good pit stops, and just continue to make his way towards the front.
Jeffrey Earnhardt just behind Steve Park in the 41. Earnhardt driving the 47. We ride along with him. We see the different lines. Earnhardt down at the bottom of the racetrack, and Steve Park was up higher.
Brand new team debuted at Bristol just a couple. I'm sorry, Chicago last week for Steve Park, Eddie Sharp, Hartman Racing. Great to see them on board, coming back here again for the second race. Looking good to run Phoenix as well, and hoping to get something put together for Homestead.
Yeah, I love Steve Park. What a great guy. He's been racing a little bit of K&N North East Series, excuse me. Also a nationwide race every now and then since he quit Cup, and now getting into the truck.
He ran the Daytona race this year for Tommy Baldwin, had a top 15 finish down there in July.
Bodine just takes 8th away from Timothy Peters. So Todd Bodine seems to have it figured out in this mile-and-a-half racetrack. Adam?
He started 14th tonight, Rick, and as you pointed out, he's already up to 8th plus 6 for our point leader. And I guess we shouldn't be surprised. On 5 different occasions in 2010, Bodine has started outside the top 10. Each time he has finished 6th or better, so he's been very good when he's not been great on qualifying day. And here you see the battle at the front. Johnny Sauter a bit free, but maintaining the lead.
How about that 30th truck has joined this battle here? Our defending winner of this race, Ron Hornaday.
Both these trucks are faster than Johnny Sauter, but Johnny's got that prime real estate. He's out in front of these two, and they're having trouble dealing with him. Hornaday to the bottom. Austin Dillon's going to try the top side. Gets a little bit sideways up there. Hits those bumps you talked about, and it shook him loose.
Sure did. It allowed Ron Hornaday to get down to this inside. Now they're going to go side by side. They got a lap truck in front of them. Norm Benning. Hornaday backs off.
So Austin Dillon grabs second back from Ron Hornaday. These 3 have separated themselves from 4th by 2 seconds. So these 3 definitely setting a blistering pace. And it's Johnny Sauter who has led since the drop of the green flag. Austin Dillon running in the 2nd spot, and Ron Hornaday runs 3rd. And then 2.5 seconds back is Matt Crafton. Eric Almirola is running in the 5th spot. Where's Kyle Busch? He started at the back of the field, currently in the 14th position. He continues to move up.
Todd Bodine grabbed another spot from Donnie Leah, moves up to the 7th position. And you know, don't you know that Todd Bodine and Mike Hillman Jr. are breathing just a little bit easier? They started back in the 14th spot, didn't really know why their truck wasn't very good qualifying, thought it was going to be better. Now I think they can breathe a sigh of relief knowing that that truck is going forward.
All back to normal. Todd Bodine hauling the mail on a 1.5-mile track.
And headed to the front. We'll see how long it takes him to get there, or if he can get there. Johnny Sauter, Austin Dillon, and Ron Hornaday are the class of the field early in this one. After we've completed 12 laps, it's all Johnny Sauter. Welcome back to the Bill Ford Tough 225. Ron Hornaday has taken second away from Austin Dillon and closed the gap between himself and Johnny Sauter for the lead here at Kentucky.
That 88 truck of Matt Crafton has joined this battle as well. He's pulled right up to the back of that 3 truck of Austin Dillon.
Last couple of laps, that's been the fastest truck on the track, but I like the way this truck of Hornaday's look. He's been able just to immediately run down Johnny Sauter and start to heat him up for the lead.
These guys have a little history too. Remember at Kansas earlier this year, that simulated or the synchronized spin they did over there in turns 3 and 4, and Johnny Sauter was able to win that race, survive that spin, or half spin I should say.
That might be my coolest moment in the history of the Truck Series. That was an amazing finish. It happened with 3 or 4 laps to go, but that effectively finished the race for us. I don't think I could have handled anything else. What a finish.
And the 47 of Jeffrey Earnhardt is turned around, bringing out our first caution.
We spun out, boys. Looks like we made a little contact here.
A little contact to the rear of that.
You guys get suited up. Let's get ready here. Got any flat tires?
See the right rear corner of that Fuel Doctor Chevrolet with some damage.
I think he does have a flat tire. I saw definitely one of them's flat spotted. Let's see if we can see what happens.
He was at the back of about 4 trucks running together. You see, he makes a little contact with the safer barrier in the left rear corner.
How did he spin out there? Wasn't he? That was awful early in the turn.
Maybe got a little loose going in, and then finally got away from him. We're going to ride on board with him.
We're going to find out how it happens. Just loose on entry, like you said. Does a good job getting back on the gas and keeping it out of that outside wall, and he suffering any more damage than he did. You hear the tire go flat there? He's got to make sure he doesn't get in too big of a hurry. That tire will blow out and he'll tear his fenders off.
So our first caution comes out on lap 21, and it's Jeffrey Earnhardt that brings out the yellow flag.
I'm afraid he's going too fast.
21 laps in, we're not quite halfway through a fuel run.
What do you think, Michael? You coming?
I hate when you do that, Phil. I want gas. I mean, we're halfway through a fuel run. I want to pit.
Maybe gas and right side tires, possibly?
Possibly. And maybe even gas and go for some of these guys that don't have that great of track position. We haven't seen the times fall off hardly at all. So I want gas and maybe some tires if I'm near the front. Maybe play a little strategy, some pit position game here. Just get gas if I'm in the back.
And the field coming on to pit road now. Ron Hornaday making his stop. Johnny Sauter, Austin Dillon. They're our top 3.
And Rick, for the number 33, as you see in the middle of the screen, Ron Hornaday, it's going to be fuel only, no tires there. It was a bit of a decision and a gamble there. How about on your end, Adam?
Top of your screen, leader Johnny Sauter talked about tires. Last minute call. Joe Shear Jr., the crew chief, said fuel only. Bottom of your screen, Austin Dillon, who started on the pole, getting fuel only as well. He was tight in and loose off. And the battle off of pit road, Hornaday up a spot. And what about Bodine? +4, he comes off second.
Not the only truck I saw take tires, guys, was the 51 of Eric Almirola. I know he got tires. He didn't like the way his truck was handling when other people were around him, so he needed an adjustment. But everybody else looked like gas, huh?
So the first caution comes out for Jeffrey Earnhardt. We have some pit strategy taking place. We'll see how good Johnny Sauter, Austin Dillon, and Ron Hornaday are when we restart from Kentucky Speedway.
Hey, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series will be right back.
Monday night, only one NASCAR show delivers the drivers, the crew chiefs, the latest news and information, and expert analysis from the epicenter of NASCAR Nation, Charlotte, North Carolina. Don't miss a full hour of NASCAR Race Up presented by Hooters Monday night at 7 Eastern, only on Speed.
Stacy Compton's on board right there, the Safe Auto Chevy. Stacy's up a bunch of positions.
And the part-time driver of that truck, Narain Karthikeyan, is going to be on the Race Hub on Monday night.
Excellent, excellent. He's done a nice job in his handful of starts here this year.
While they continue the cleanup efforts here at Kentucky Speedway, we're going to slip away one more time. Get you ready for the restart.
It's Camping World's Destination Recreation.
Hi everybody and welcome to Destination Recreation. Looks like a pretty typical campsite I'm in, right?
Some people are okay with having a blue chair. For me, not so much, because I want my chair to represent auto racing, so I got a checkered flag chair. That's even cooler. Some people like a red and white tablecloth. If your grandma does, that's fine, but not for me. I want checkered flag motif. How about this? Holographic checkered flag sign? I've got a really cool item here. This is a collapsible item. You can use it as a trash can, you can use it as an Abe Lincoln hat, or you can fill it full of ice and put your favorite beverages in there. We've got a windsock, we've got the welcome mat, everything that you need. If you're a real race fan, you gotta have the checkered flag collection.
An Abe Lincoln hat. Well, the Camping World Destination Recreation Sweepstakes is back and better than ever. More prizes, more chances to win. To enter, see the complete prize descriptions and the official rules, visit campingworld.com/racing. There's checkered flags everywhere.
Yeah, I think Bruton Smith goes to the same Camping World store and gets his checkered flag motif here.
The Aaron's lucky dog went to Clay Greenfield. He's back on the lead lap courtesy of Aaron's, and we're coming to the green flag.
This time it's Hornaday choosing the outside line. Todd Bodine on the inside. Green flag back in the air.
We saw Johnny Sauter able to get the lead from the inside. Not going to happen this time. Ron Hornaday already cleared Todd Bodine.
Austin Dillon trying to go by that 30 of Todd Bodine, looking for any way around as they make their way through 1 and 2.
Todd slides up the racetrack right in front of Austin Dillon.
That 88 of Matt Crafton also coming into play now as he's running in the 4th spot. Johnny Sauter just outside him in 5th.
How about that guy running 6th right now? That 18 truck, remember where he started?
At the back of the field.
At the back. 26 laps, he's running 6th.
You know, but it looks like to me he's moving on the outside of Crafton here. I've watched him a couple of times exiting the corner. Adam, it just looks like he's a little bit tight. Maybe he's pushing in the turns. Have they said anything about that truck?
They have not. Talking, though, about Kyle Busch, Michael, who runs on the outside of Matt Crafton through the corner there. And you guys just talked about the incredible rally he has had in the early part of this race. Prior to that caution, maybe 5-7 laps or so, Kyle came on the radio, said he thought he might have a tire going down. The crew was actually on the wall. Then they realized there was no tire issue. Kyle said the truck is uncomfortable. I guess if the truck is uncomfortable, once they adjust on it, he should be really good. Be fun to watch him on this run.
Yeah, he was able to manage his way from the back up to the top 10 here with an uncomfortable truck. Just imagine, Phil, what he's going to be like when they got to get it fixed for him. And history tells us they will get it fixed for him.
More than likely, they will get it fixed. Eric Phillips does such a great job with that Kyle Busch Motorsports team. Now watch him drive to the inside of Austin Dillon. He's going to peek down there.
He's going to make it. He's going to get to the bottom. It looked like a very difficult.
Oh, into the wall. That looked like the 17.
I think it was Timothy Peters in the 17 truck. Bounced off the wall coming off turn 4.
Remember how wide and sweeping I told you this place was? Sometimes you just can't have enough room.
17 of Timothy Peters being passed by Ricky Carmichael now in the 4, but he looks like he's keeping up to speed.
Justin Lofton losing a spot there to Mike Skinner.
Very high. Some of the trucks running through the turn now. Take another look.
Here's Timothy. He gets his right sides out of the groove. He gets sideways.
Holy cow.
That's a pretty darn nice save. That's there.
An extremely nice save.
This is Steve Park. Also getting into the wall.
He's way up in the loose stuff up there.
Well,
he was more in the center of the corner to the exit. Looked like turn 2.
Look at Kyle Busch. He's made his way around Austin Dillon now.
Oh, something's wrong with Matt Crafton.
Crafton slowing now.
Inside again. Inside again.
You hear his crew? Are you all right? What's wrong?
Come on.
Come on,
Come
baby.
on, right with you now.
I think he just got loose.
I loaded the nose real bad and I turned and it wasn't there.
They lost the nose when they got down to that corner, turned the steering wheel, nothing happened. Backed out of the throttle. That's how little these guys are out of the throttle. When he did that, Mike Skinner drove by him like he had threw the brakes on.
And then look at him now. He's right back up to speed. Ray, what are they saying?
Well, and Michael, he was very tight in the initial part of this race. His crew chief Bud Hafele said, I think the track is going to loosen up, and they did make an air pressure adjustment on that lap 21 pit stall. But as you heard Matt say, once it floated the nose, he just had no control of it right through the middle of the corner.
You know what these crew chiefs deal with, Bill? We heard people talking in pre-race about what the track's going to do tonight. Used to, 100 years ago, we knew when it got dark, it tightened up. That's just the way it was. Nowadays, sometimes these things will go a little bit tighter, and sometimes they go looser.
Probably the majority of the time, they will loosen up a little bit. I was talking to a couple of the crew chiefs down in the garage, and I said, what do you think this track's going to do tonight? They said, I think whatever problem you have, it's going to exaggerate it. If you're a little bit tight, you're going to get tighter because you're going to have more overall grip. If you're a little bit loose, you're going to get looser.
And a guy who's moved around the 13 of Johnny Sauter is Kyle Busch. He's up to the 3rd position now. So it's Hornaday, Bodine, and Busch, 1, 2, and 3. Then Johnny Sauter and Austin Dillon are your top 5.
Boy, it's a real detriment to Kyle Busch to have to start at the back of the pack. I mean, we've run 33 laps, and he's only up to 3rd.
Well, I've heard fans say before they think they ought to invert the whole field. Just put all the fast guys in the back and the slow ones in the front. That's what we do with qualifying. Sure does make that fun, and Kyle Busch has done it for us lately in the races.
Side by side, Justin Lofton on the inside, Mike Skinner on the outside. The number 5 coming up on the 88. It seems as though that 88 truck of Matt Crafton is struggling. We're seeing Skinner try to get by him on the outside.
You know, I like Skinner's line. He's running higher than anybody here. It sure is fun to see this track open up and have all these different grooves. Jay White all the way to the bottom of the track. Is he going to make the move?
Looks like he's going to get by. Mike Skinner's going to give him some room to get in.
Look at him just barely missing that wall on the exit of 4. We saw another truck almost get hold of it.
Up there high in that number 51.
There's Donnie Leah in the 90 truck looking to try to get by Eric Almirola.
Well, it's good to see such a great run for Jason White. He's had so many motor problems, engine problems lately. He's got him a different truck here this weekend. He's racing a Ford, and it looks like it's working for him. You see Jason down into turn 3. He's driven that thing all the way up to the 7th spot here early in the going.
We saw him at Daytona get the pole at Daytona with a Ford that he bought from Roush Fenway. Finished 4th in that race. Right now, Jason White, this is, I think, his first race in a Ford on a non-restrictor plate track and doing a terrific job. Right now, running in the 7th spot.
Jason is so fun to talk to. He talked about that pole at Daytona. He said, I got in the truck. I ran wide open for 2 laps. I'm on the pole. He gets to Charlotte, the next race. He said, I get in the truck. I do the same thing, and I'm 25th. I'm the same dude. I did the same things. Why am I 25th now? And that just goes to show you how diversely different Daytona and any other place is. Things just happen differently down there.
Hornaday out in front of Todd Bodine by 0.6 of a second. Kyle Busch has got 2.6 seconds to go if he wants to catch up to Hornaday. Johnny Sauter, Austin Dillon, your top 5 here in the Built Ford Tough 225. Welcome back to Sparta, Kentucky, and the Kentucky Speedway. It is Ron Hornaday, just about 0.3 of a second in front of Todd Bodine, and Bodine is looking extremely strong now.
I don't think he likes Hornaday's line, so he's going to pick a different one. Starting to peek around the outside of Ron.
If Hornaday ever gives him a bit of an opening up there, Todd's going to grab that. Right now we have 9.5 winds leading this race, 11.5 winds running second, which is the most ever. And in 3rd, Kyle Busch with 10.5 winds.
Still half back.
He's talking about his truck being tight. Then it gets loose on the way off, and Todd Bodine's trying to take advantage of that. I don't think that's a coincidence that those are our first 3 trucks, Phil.
Yeah, probably not. That's only 30.5 winds combined.
Todd Bodine took the lead away from Ron Hornaday. So Bodine out in front of the field at Kentucky.
Okay, so now it's 11, 10, and 9. 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, 1.5 winds.
So it's the right order now, would you say?
I agree. They don't come. No.
There's the 18. Kyle Busch running 3rd. Again, he is 2.4 seconds behind Todd Bodine.
And I think I think Kyle realizes he's got some serious competition tonight. He's usually been able just to drive up there and put these guys away, but Todd Bodine and Hornaday are both better than Kyle Busch right now.
There's Johnny Sauter just in front of Austin Dillon. These two started on the front row. Johnny Sauter jumped out to the lead on lap number 1 until our first caution came out when the field came on to pit road. Then everything shook up. We had Hornaday up front. Hornaday has now just lost the lead to Todd Bodine. Bodine has almost a half a second on Ron Hornaday, and our second caution has come out. This time it's the 31 into the wall, so problems for James Busher.
Tough break for James. Always so competitive when he shows up for these Truck Series races. He's made some contact with the right side for sure.
See if we can take a look.
Oh, that's just a case where that truck started pushing with him a little bit in the center of the turn, and he didn't let off the gas, and he ran out of room exiting. I think these guys feel like they got a little bit more room than they do have, and that's why we've seen people hitting that outside wall. Ray, what are they saying down there?
Well, Buescher had just come on the radio about 10 seconds prior to that contact, said he thought he had a right front down, and as he coasted up the hill, he said, yep, we're in trouble.
About as minimal contact as you can have, or damage. Looks like the right front tire is up, doesn't it, Mike?
Yeah, it does to me, too. The thing just must have started pushing with him. It maybe felt like it was going flat, but it looks like it's got air in it right now.
So the Aaron's lucky dog goes to Clay Greenfield again.
He's getting
in the 46.
He's good at getting those.
He's twofer.
Yeah, by the way, I gave Ron Hornaday credit for having 10 mile-and-a-half wins. He only has 9. Kyle has 10, so they're out of order.
Everyone's out of order, and Clay Greenfield gets a Aaron's lucky dog.
I think they have to come.
These guys will all pit here.
And now they're going to put the tires on.
This is when they're going to get their tires. It'll be interesting to see what Eric Almirola does. If he pits here and gets tires, he's going to be down to one set is all he's going to have left. So these teams have to really think about their strategy. Looks like for sure, though, there's going to be tires put on this time.
There's Mike Hillman Sr., team manager there for Todd Bodine. I think Eric Almirola has to put fuel only at this point, don't you, Michael?
I think you're exactly right, Phil, and that's part of his strategy. He needed an adjustment early. He ran 20 laps, got tires. This time he's going to run 20 more and get him gas.
Ray Dunlap.
Ron Hornaday was loose in the middle, tied off. Remember last time when he came in and pitted, he was in second, went out as the leader. And this time they're going to go with 4 tires on this Easy Go Chevrolet. Hornaday says, if you can, make me a little air pressure to try to help get through the center. Adam?
On that last run, Kyle Busch said we've got to make it better, adding to adjustments that they made on their first stop of the evening back at lap 21. It will be 4 tires, fuel, and an adjustment for the 18. No changes for Todd Bodine in the 30. He loved what his truck was doing on that run. It will be 4 tires and fuel for him, but strategy once again winning out on pit road. Stacy Compton the first to exit, followed by Austin Dillon.
Stacy Compton makes up 13 positions on pit road.
That's an easier place to pass. If you can spend less time there, you're going to get around a whole bunch of guys.
More strategy coming into play at Kentucky Speedway. This time it's Stacy Compton taking a gamble to get out front. Austin Dillon will restart in the 2nd position here in Kentucky.
Hey, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series will be right back.
Coverage of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series is presented on speed by Ford. Drive one. Brought to you in part by Cheerios. Check out Cheerios.com/love for heart healthy tips and a chance to win the ultimate race weekend. And by Royal Purple, the performance oil that outperforms. Sunday NASCAR race day roars into Atlanta, where Casey Kane joins us live. Plus, JR will sit down with Jeff Gordon and we'll look at the summer swoons of Jimmy Johnson and Denny Hamlin. NASCAR race day built by the Home Depot, live from Atlanta Sunday at 5 Eastern, only on Speed. Ray Dunlap, what's happening with Timothy Peters?
Just saw the 17 come to pit road. When he had made that contact with the wall up there in the corner, the right rear spoiler had been bent forward. Jeff Hensley said, we got to get that thing back in the air to get the downforce. They put some work on that, and that truck is much better than it was prior to this round of pit stops.
And Timothy Peters back a ways, will restart in the 26th position. Out in front, though, it's Stacy Compton using some pit strategy. Todd Bodine on the inside. And green flag back in the air. We're underway.
Stacy chose the outside, has a pretty good jump, but Todd's fighting back on the inside.
And look on the outside of Stacy. Here comes Ron Hornaday.
Hornaday passes on the outside. It's a race for the lead into turn number 1.
Comes Kyle Busch side by side now with Austin Dillon. Stacy Compton's paying the price for those old tires.
He didn't get a start at all. About 6, 8 trucks, 10 trucks have driven by him. Now we got a great battle for the lead, though.
They stay side by side. Bodine on the inside. Hornaday on the outside. Now Hornaday has the advantage. Sliding up the track was Todd Bodine. Kyle Busch gets by, and now a race for second. Austin Dillon on the inside. Kyle Busch on the outside.
Todd got really, really loose down there. Had to chase that truck up the hill. Loses a spot to Austin Dillon for a moment.
Now he's battling back to the outside, trying to take the 3rd spot away from Austin Dillon.
Kyle Busch looking to the high side of Ron Hornaday. We saw Todd Bodine make the move around Hornaday just before the caution flag came out. Now it looks like Kyle Busch thinks he's going to do the same thing.
Johnny Sauter in the 13, rounding out our top 5. So it's Hornaday, Busch, Bodine, Austin Dillon, and Johnny Sauter.
33 trucks looking pretty good right now as we watch from the Toyota onboard of Todd Bodine. Todd's in the 3rd spot. That's Kyle Busch right there in 2nd, right in front of him. Kyle goes to the high side.
And Todd dips to the bottom. You know, when Todd went into turn 3 on the first lap after the restart on the inside of Hornaday really laid on the outside of Todd's truck, and that makes them get extremely loose. These trucks are relying on that air that they're leaning against in the corners to keep the truck stable. Hornaday took all of Todd's away, and Todd almost spun out.
Kyle Busch has worked his way up to the 2nd spot, Adam.
And perhaps, Rick, as this run continues, he may be the driver to watch. The reason why, incredibly loose prior to that pit stop at lap 47. He told crew chief Eric Phillips, "I'm wrecking every lap. You must tighten me up." They took a pretty big swing at it. They feel like they've got it where it needs to be.
And he's taking a swing at the lead right now. Kyle Busch to the outside of Ron Hornaday.
Look at Todd Bodine. He gets a run through the center of the corner. He's going to pull the Hornadays outside.
Todd Bodine trying to take 2nd away from Hornaday. He does at the stripe. Kyle Busch now leading. Could it be 5 wins in a row in the races that he has started? Kyle Busch out in front of the field at Kentucky. Todd Bodine, though, all over his back bumper, not wanting to give up that top spot.
Talk to Todd. He was talking about the run he had at Chicago. He had one shot at Kyle Busch. He got a run on him coming off of 2 one time at Chicago. Kyle moved up, closed the door, and then Todd was never able to make another run.
Now he's looking in he's looking in the same spot, riding along behind Kyle Busch. Took Kyle Busch from lap 1 to lap 54 to go from last to first. Put that truck out in the lead, and Todd Bodine wants to get it back.
We'll see if the handling is to his liking now as he runs out front in clean air. Todd Bodine running 2nd. Hornaday is 3rd, Austin Dillon 4th, and Johnny Sauter 5th. We've got Lofton in the top 10. He's running 6th. Mike Skinner is 7th. Eric Almirola, Stacy Compton, and Jason White are your top 10.
Let's see how much foot Todd Bodine leaves in this thing when he gets down here to turn 1, guys. Can we ride along with him? He is certainly on the gas hard, being able to put pressure on Kyle Busch.
Stays to the high side. Kyle Busch runs a lower line. We always hear the drivers talking about clean air, how important clean air is, and well, Kyle Busch has it now.
Well, you see Todd Bodine looking for it. He doesn't just fall down in there in the corner and follow Kyle. I think he's probably running that line, Phil, more so just to do what Rick said, try to find a little bit of fresh air on that nose to keep it planted.
You know, the thing is, if he follows in the tire tracks of Kyle Busch as he makes the move to the inside, is he going to get up beside him? Almost for a moment, got the nose up underneath him. But if he keeps following him, that's going to create a pushing situation for his truck, and that's going to overheat his right front tire and then make that situation worse.
It'll never get any better either. Once you heat that thing up, it just doesn't come back.
Todd Bodine continues to look down at the low line around this racetrack as we see Kyle Busch move up a bit, about a lap or a lane and a half up the racetrack is where we've seen Kyle Busch run, and now Todd Bodine again looking to the inside.
Phil, you're talking about heating up that right front tire. When you put heat in it, it puts more air pressure in it as well. Makes that tire swell up like a basketball. And on a rough track like Kentucky here, you don't want your tires blowing up. It'll just make those bumps even worse. So there's a lot that Todd has to think about right here as he's following along behind Kyle. If he can't make the move, he might need to roll off of him, fade off of him a little bit, and then make another run at him later.
Get a little more air down and pushing his truck down so he doesn't overheat that right front tire. And the radial tires aren't exactly like the old bi-ply tires. The radial tires, once you make them mad, it's hard for them to recover.
Ray Dunlap.
Guys, we saw Ron Hornaday up there in the front. He's back to 3rd right now, having a pretty good battle with Austin Dillon. But Hornaday said when Kyle got beside him, his truck felt like all 4 tires were completely off the racetrack. He said, I have absolutely no side bite at that point. You got to do something different with air pressure to help me be able to run side by side with these guys, because it just didn't work that last time.
See Austin Dillon run a little bit lower line the same way that Todd was, just trying to run where Ron Hornaday isn't running.
The top 4, 1 and 2 are running together, and 3 and 4 are running together. Hornaday and Austin Dillon in 3rd and 4th. There's 1 and 2. Kyle Busch has about 3 truck lengths between himself and Todd Bodine now, so he's put a little gap in between he and 2nd.
These are guys who are running some fast laps. That last lap by Kyle Busch was only about
3/10 of a second off what our pole was for this race.
That's fast.
Very fast this long into the race.
Temperatures coming down a little bit at Kentucky Speedway, and the speeds are picking up. It's the built Ford Tough 225. The sounds of engines revving and the roar of the crowd. Racing's your passion. Check out Cheerios.com/love for heart-healthy tips and a chance to win the ultimate race weekend. Love your heart so you can do what you love.
Everybody loves love.
James Buescher on pit road now, and they're changing right side tires on the number 31.
Trying to do a little bit more work on that right front fender we got in the wall. They're going to send him out. Wonder if he had a tire going down.
Yeah, may have had a tire rub too from that contact with the outside wall. Great battle. Johnny Sauter now has gotten by Ron Hornaday to take over the 4th position.
What about Justin Lofton? Another strong run for him in that 7 truck. He's up there getting ready to try to take that spot from Hornaday as well.
3 top 5s in the last 5 races. Actually, 4 top 10s in the last 5 races, and only 5 for the year. So he is really peaking at the right time.
Look at the move that Austin Dillon makes off turn 2. Looks like Hornaday's truck's just really tight. Pushing up off the corner, he has to come out of the gas. We've seen some guys elect not to come out of the gas with a pushing truck, and they wound up in the wall. So good decision by Hornaday.
Johnny Sauter, Ron Hornaday, Justin Lofton running 4th, 5th, and 6th. Kyle Busch has a 1.1 second lead over Todd Bodine. There you see Kyle Busch out in front of the field. Let's do a top 10 drop back. We'll begin with Adam Alexander.
The number 18 out front, Rick, a familiar scene in Camping World Truck Series competition in 2010. Entering tonight's race, despite the fact Kyle had only been in 9 races, he had led more laps than anyone, 649, and he's been very good here at Kentucky. When you look at all the races that he's been in here, truck and nationwide, he's led over 350 laps. He's very comfortable in this position, no doubt about it. And behind him, helping to create a rerun of a week ago, Todd Bodine. Bodine feels good about his truck after starting in the 14th position and working his way into the top 5, but he did say the truck is a bit tight on this run. Really the first complaint we've heard out of Bodine all night long. And then there's Austin Dillon, the rookie, riding in the 3rd position. He got his 4th career pole here at Kentucky earlier today. He has been very coachable on the radio, hearing good words of encouragement from both his spotter, Andy Houston, and his grandfather and owner, Richard Childress. Riding in the 4th position, Johnny Sauter. Sauter jumped out early and grabbed the lead at the start. After beginning this race on the inside of the front row, Sauter has not been totally happy with the truck, saying it's sliding the nose, but he is stabilized in the 4th position, Ray.
Well, Adam Michael was very right when he said he thought the 33 was tight. Hornaday, as I said earlier, with no side bite and very tight coming off the corner. So his crew chief, Kevin Buskirk, said, don't worry, we're going to work on that thing. The truck that Hornaday is driving tonight is number 48, and Kevin Harvick used that truck to win earlier this year at St. Louis. So Hornaday said, let's fix it and get back to the front. The number 7 of Justin Lofton is very free into the center, free and through the center. So they're going to try to make an adjustment with the track bar whenever they pit the next time. Realize these guys have not enough tires to use. If they would like to have more tires, they would probably use them. Now the 7 and Skinner have had a very good battle tonight. Those guys have done a lot of side-by-side racing, and a little while ago Lofton said, I wish Skinner would get off the back of my bumper. Skinner came on the radio and said he better get used to it. I love putting pressure on the young guys. Skinner now moved himself up into the 7th position. Adam?
And Ray, it's a young guy behind Skinner. That would be one Jason White, some 2 seconds behind in the 8th position. Here is a team that has had plenty of ups and downs throughout 2010. Consider their last 3 races prior to last week's 11th place finish at Bristol. They had engine problems, each finishing outside the top 25. How big would a top 10 run be for this club here tonight? But he's got company, Ray.
That would be Matt Crafton, who started 10th tonight and has dropped to the back of the field, had some different issues, now worked his way back up to 8th. His big problem is, as he tries to give information to Bud Haefele, his crew chief, he said, one lap, I'm real loose, the next lap, real tight. So he said it's inconsistent, but really it makes a big difference of how he enters turn number 1, and the guys are getting ready for pits because the caution is out.
And almost on cue, our first caution came out on lap 21. The second caution was 25 laps later on lap 46. And now the third caution comes out about 30 laps later on lap number 76.
What do you think, Phil? You always do this to me. What are these guys going to do?
I think we have to come, but I think we want to save our last set of tires. We still have 75 laps to go. We're just now halfway. I think I want tires a little bit later.
So we started a race on a set of tires. They're gone. We used a set to practice. They're gone. They've got a set on there now. They'll only have one set left, and they've got to figure out when exactly they want to put those on. I'm like you. I want mine a little bit later.
Yeah, I think so. Now, Stacy Compton, who did fuel only on that last pit stop, he may have to put his tires on now. He's dropped back to the 13th position.
You know, he fell right back from 1st to 7th, 8th, 9th, or 10th there in a lap or so, but then he sort of stabilized. So Stacy's in pretty good shape. He'll come get those tires. This could be a bit of an advantage for him. It might work out still where he can gain some track position by the move of not getting tires earlier.
Kevin Buskirk on top of the pit box for Ron Hornaday, calling the shots. Kyle Busch leading the field. Our Aaron's lucky dog goes to Patty Rodenbeck in the 82.
Well, that's going to make Clay Greenfield mad.
Clay got a couple of them.
Yeah, he didn't get this most recent Aaron's lucky dog. So Rodenbeck will get back on the lead lap. That'll put 21 on the lead back, or the lead lap. 27 trucks are being scored. To the 27th truck is being scored one lap down. So that's 6 more trucks that are just one lap down.
Here they come.
And Kyle Busch will lead them on to pit road. Todd Bodine just behind him, and James Buescher, your top 3 coming on to pit road, right?
Ron Hornaday will come on to pit road running in 5th. He says we've got to make some kind of adjustment. How about track bar? And Kevin Buskirk said no, we can't do that because the left front will drag. So they're going to put a half around a wedge into the left rear. You see that adjustment going on. Fuel here, they can't put tires on. They've got to wait till later in the race. Adam?
And the same is true for the 18 of Kyle Busch, top of your screen, and middle of your screen, Todd Bodine. Both crew chiefs saying, save the tires, top off the fuel tank. 6.2 seconds on pit road for Kyle Busch, and it's going to be closer to 8 seconds for Todd Bodine, and Kyle Busch easily the quickest away.
Austin Dillon 3rd fastest off of pit road, and then Shelby Howard in the number 2 was 4th quick.
Looks like Eric Almirola's getting some tires there, Rick.
So different pit strategies taking place once again here at Kentucky Speedway. Stay with us on Speed. Thursday night on Speed. Prime time is ground scorching. At 8, it's Pinks All Out, where they return to where drag racing began in Bakersfield, California. Then at 10, it's the USA versus Italy on an all-new Battle of the Supercars presented by Michelin. That's all Thursday night beginning at 8 Eastern on Speed. I've been working on my accents, and I'm forgetting how to say the countries now.
There's a bunch of Italians in Italy.
There sure are.
That's where most of them stay.
Or where they were born.
Well, we have Max over here, though.
That's right, Max Pappas. We were talking about the foreign drivers that are running in the field.
Yeah, we've got several of them, and it's fun to talk to them and listen to their racing history. Certainly Patty Rodenbeck getting one of those.
We've definitely confirmed that he's from Florida, but we do have Miguel Paludo in the field. He is from Brazil.
Lorraine Karthikeyan races occasionally from India.
Kyle Busch is going to restart on the outside of row number 1 and back a couple rows, the 7 of Justin Lofton, right?
And he'll go back out about 5th, I believe, Rick. And they had a good round of pit stops here. They had made a big wedge adjustment and fuel only. No tires for Lofton. As his crew chief, Mark Rett, said, we really have to save those for later in the race. But he likes the way that truck is starting to roll through the center. So the 7 moving towards the front.
Let's see if Kyle Busch can get a good restart. Again, they didn't change tires. Neither did Todd Bodine. Just filled it up with fuel. Coming back to the stripe. Green flag back in the air.
Looks like Todd got a start where he can hang down on the inside of Kyle Busch. Going to race down into turn 1 side by side.
See if he can roll that thing down. Remember, all these guys up front on old tires. Todd has to chase it up the hill. Kyle's not going to give that spot.
A little bit of a wobble out of Bodine. Behind him, 4 wide. Battling for the 4th spot. And now it's Johnny Sauter that moves out in front.
How about Todd Bodine? Todd Bodine would love to get those 5 points.
Oh, sideways goes Todd Bodine. Can he save it right in front of Austin Dillon? Todd Bodine slides into the grass.
Hold it right there.
No contact made. How about that move coming out of 4?
Austin Dillon is the one I want to look at. How he got through there without running over the top of Tom Bodine. I don't know. He was right there.
Todd Bodine running so strong and then getting loose coming out of turn number 4.
But how does he spin like that in front of the entire field and everybody miss him?
They're good.
Well, they are. And he's pretty good, too, that he didn't make any contact with the outside wall.
He wanted those 5 points just a little worse than he probably needed to want them.
Here, as we said, Kyle Busch was not going to give him that spot when he drove around the outside of him.
Look at Austin Dillon.
It just pulled it back and around. Something flew off of Todd's truck. You think maybe it was one of the Romeo windows?
There's the triangular windows just behind the cab of the truck.
Hey, let's look at Skinner here. There's almost 2 wrecks at once. He gets into Shelby Howard, or Boyd's getting into him. You could see it already locked up the brakes. He thought he was going to crash. He's still crashing, but he's able to save the truck. And just right ahead of him, in the middle of all that, he had to figure out how to get around Tom Bodine, who was spinning off turn 4.
An incredible job by all those drivers to not have any more damage than they had. This is what Stacy Compton saw in his onboard camera. That Skinner, they're trying to chase his truck. Now he sees nothing but smoke when Tom Bodine goes down across the racetrack.
When that smoke is like that, Phil, Stacy Compton is relying heavily on his spotter to tell him which way to go. He can't see anything. We can see better than he can.
What, you see that? You see something fly off of that truck right there? That's part of the back of that truck. There's a decal on that truck.
It's like
is that where the oil cooler is back there? That there's a panel.
Tank. There's an oil tank
back there, and I believe that.
Listen to this now. Listen.
Look at Austin Dillon barely sneaking by. And you know what was so impressive about Austin Dillon's move? He's turning. You know, he's racing his truck as hard as he can. Now all of a sudden he's got to make evasive action. Even though he's got it all loaded up in the middle of the corner, he was able to calmly sort his way around the spinning truck of Todd Bodine.
That's the piece off of Todd Bodine's truck right there. It's part of the bed of that truck, I would think, part of the bed cover. Let's take another look at it. Now watch, when he gets sideways, Kyle Busch just pulls it back into that truck around. We're going to watch as something's going to fly off. You see it flapping there, but right in front of the spoiler. It's a fairly large piece.
Right in between the roll bars that come off the cab. That piece of the bed, like you mentioned, flew off of the truck.
That's just part of the back of the truck that helps these things have aerodynamic downforce. You know, we got to get all the air over that cab we can onto that big bed area, and part of it's gone, so they'll have to fix that.
Get this thing fixed up here.
Mike Hillman Jr. going to be one of those that goes over the wall. Of course, he is the crew chief on the team. Todd came on the radio after it first happened and everything had calmed down, and he said, I don't think I flat spotted the tires. And then after further evaluation, they knew he would have to come down and get fresh rubber. They are taping the truck up. You guys talked about the debris that came off, and you can see via the onboard camera here that they are taping up that portion of the rear cover. It's going to be a long stop for Bodine, but he should be able with no problems to stay on the lead lap. And then we'll see if he can rally. He requested a tear off the windshield. They've been able to execute that as well. And here you can see Mike Hillman Jr., the team's crew chief, talking to the NASCAR official. He is a hands-on leader, no doubt about it.
Yeah, Adam, I think if I was that team, I would run back to the hauler off the backup truck and get that panel. They could tape that panel on, but I'm not sure tape is going to get the job done, Michael.
No, and Phil, I think that's what they're going to do, because they sent a crew member toward the hauler. That could very well be what's happening here. We'll keep you posted.
Yeah, they can also go to NASCAR and get the one that just blew off and tape it back on.
So Todd Bodine coming back off the pit road, so he stays on the lead lap. It's Kyle Busch out front. Austin Dillon runs second now. Johnny Sauter, Ron Hornaday, and Justin Lofton. They're your top 5 at Kentucky Speedway. It's the Built Ford Tough 225. Welcome back to the Built Ford Tough 225 from Kentucky Speedway. The Aaron's Lucky Dog goes to the 72 of John Jackson.
John Jackson is sponsored by James Carter.
Bodine will restart at the back of the field. He is running in the 25th position. Out front, though, it's Kyle Busch and Austin Dillon as they come to the tri-oval, and it will be Kyle Busch back into the gas. Green flag back in the air.
Austin Dillon's going to hang tough on the inside. Kyle just about, he does have them cleared when they get down to 1. Hornaday now side by side with Austin for second.
See Jason White bobbling around down there low on the track. He's wandering up the hill.
Justin Lofton also looking impressive in that number 7 back there in the 6th spot.
Nice little string of top 5s and top 10s for Justin Lofton here the last 5 races or so.
Kyle Busch now with 4 truck links in front of Ron Hornaday. Then it's Austin Dillon, Johnny Sauter, and Eric Almirola.
Eric Almirola's made a good recovery. That truck wasn't that good early in the going. Remember on that first pit stop, lap 20, most everybody took just gas only. He changed tires, made some adjustments, so they made some good progress with that truck. Now he's able to hang right there in the top 5, although Justin Lofton looks like he's trying to get that spot away.
Gets a nose underneath him, gets him down to the inside, getting down into turn number 3. We've seen trucks get really loose down there. Justin's truck looks pretty good.
Yeah, that's a great move. That's so difficult to make that pass, and Justin's going to be able to complete it with a push.
Yeah,
that's an aerodynamic push from Mike Skinner.
Remember earlier in the race, Justin Lofton said, hey, I'm not so sure I like Mike Skinner all over my back bumper, and Skinner said, I'm going to get behind these guys and let them know what it feels like.
And get used to it.
Well,
he liked it then.
He liked it then. It gave him the push he needed to clear Eric Almirola, but now here comes Skinner on the inside.
Skinner trying to take away the 5th spot from Justin Lofton. Eric Almirola in the 51 also in this battle.
88 of Matt Crafton way up high to the outside of Ricky Carmichael. Jay White right behind Matt Crafton.
Looks like Jay will make the move around the top. That puts Jay up to the 9th spot.
Shelby Howard also coming in, and problems for the 6 of Carl Long. He slides, looking like he was coming onto pit road. No caution. We stay green.
I think the officials, the officials will watch that. If he gets that truck refired, he knows the field's on the other side of the racetrack. We're going to stay green.
That's exactly what we do. You see Kyle Busch, our leader, come by, put a lap on Carl Long. Carl had done a nice job. He had been on the lead lap.
He was racing pretty hard with, looked like John Jackson maybe in the 72 truck. Don't know if there was any contact. Carl does a nice job of keeping that truck out of the inside wall.
Locked it down. This is Jeffrey Earnhardt's view.
There we are right there. I think there was some contact. Looked like Carl may have got into John Jackson a little bit.
Oh, and now we have trouble. The wall. Is that John Jackson?
No, I think that's a 0-1. That's 82. Patty Rodenbach.
Patty Rodenbach. So hard contact for the 82, bringing out our 4th caution.
Guys, we're getting very, very close to the pit window. We've completed 91 laps. That means 59 laps to go. We said our pit window was somewhere between 55 and 60 laps. Do we come in now, put that last set of tires on, Michael?
I don't know. I think that this would certainly be a big break for Ty Bodine, and if everybody did that, that would mean he would be basically on the same tires for the rest of the race. Oh, he just got sliding up the hill and hit Stacy Compton. Did you see Stacy?
And Stacy saved that.
How did he save that?
I said, well, we're gonna lose him out of our picture, crashing, and then he didn't crash.
Look how sideways Stacy is.
Completely sideways, and doesn't even hit the outside wall.
Did you see him with the gas wide open too? He had that thing spinning.
Listen to this, Michael. Let's listen to Stacy Compton. That's how you keep him backing into the outside wall and spinning out.
And you heard him too, guys. He didn't just slam that gas down. He was working it.
Feathering it. That was really impressive.
Sounded like a top fuel card doing a burnout.
On to pit road, we see a few of the top trucks on pit road. Adam?
Kyle Busch, the race leader, asked what was happening. Eric Phillips, his crew chief, said no way, stay out. It would be way too close, especially if we got a green-white checker. But Rick, as you pointed out, there are a handful of trucks who elected to make a pit stop here at lap 92. One of those top 5 running, Johnny Sauter. He will get 4 tires. He has been solid throughout the night. He will be on a little bit of a different sequence, and when these other drivers pit, he will likely cycle to the front, and Todd Bodine will join him there. Bodine getting fuel only here. These stops at lap 92.
That's a good break for Todd Bodine. They got in there. Their tires are now equal to some of the people they're racing, and he was able to get his bed fixed. I bet they patched that thing up.
They said he was good to go. He had made his way up to the 14th position running under green.
Aaron's lucky dog goes to first-time truck starter, Will Kimmel. So Will Kimmel will get a lap back. He will be on the lead lap running in the 24th spot. Be the biggest racing fan you can be with Verizon Championship Racing at the track and on your phone. From nationwide IndyCar driver meet and greets to exclusive peeks inside the Penske Garage right on your VCAS phone, where your hard cards are racing nirvana. Only from the network with the most 3G coverage. Verizon.
Got some interesting names that have surfaced in the top 10. You know, we saw Donnie Leah have a strong qualifying run earlier on speed. Now Miguel Paludo.
They're in the top 9.
And Michael Ricky Carmichael.
We had Stacy Compton sliding sideways, and also just moments ago, this is Carl Long. Wow, close call there between he and the 72 of John Jackson.
Remember, they're the trucks that made contact that caused Carl to spin earlier.
Carl was expressing some disappointment with the truck of Jackson.
So your top 9 stayed on the racetrack. 9th is Miguel Paludo. Out in front is Kyle Busch and Ron Hornaday. They're 1 and 2. Hornaday so good on restarts. Let's see if he can make the inside line work for him. Green flag going back in the air. Kyle Busch back on it on the outside.
Green flag. Looked like Kyle brought him down really slow. Ron Hornaday able to match him now as they drive down into turn number 1.
Side by side. 4 rows back.
This turn 1 is probably okay to make side by side because you're really not all the way up to speed yet. But you get down here, you're going to have your hands full if you try to go side by side, and that's what Ron's going to try to do.
Hornaday trying to take the lead, going into turn number 3. He gets loose, slides up the racetrack. Kyle Busch able to go by. Now taking advantage of that. The 5 of Mike Skinner looking to battle for the 2nd spot. They're 4 wide as they come to the stripe. Austin Dillon on the inside. Skinner moving up the racetrack. They continue to battle for 2nd.
How about that? What, 4 wide racing right at the start-finish line here.
And Kyle Busch was really happy he was looking at his mirror and all that because Ron Hornaday had almost gotten to the side of him. It actually wiggled Busch's truck up the hill, but he kept his momentum up well enough to stay ahead of that wild battle behind him.
There's Todd Bodine, Johnny Sauter, David Starr in the 81. Here's Justin Lofton now trying to get to the inside of the 33 of Hornaday.
I'll tell you, that Justin Lofton team gets stronger and stronger every week. Reeled off some top 5s here and looking really good tonight.
And I tell you what, Mike Skinner has been all over that 7 of Justin Lofton, not giving him an ounce of room to breathe on the racetrack.
And this is as racy as we've seen Mike Skinner maybe this year. He's had some great top 10 finishes, but this is as close as he's been able to run towards the front, I believe, this year.
Ray Dunlap.
Hey, Rick, just keep in mind that up on the spotter stand for Justin Lofton is Terry Cook. And Terry had some really good runs at this particular racetrack and has been able to help him quite a bit on the radio. And he said, don't forget, the dynamic of this race is going to change again yet tonight. We're not even to lap 100. So he said, don't get too racy yet because we've got some more racing coming your way here in the final laps. Adam?
And Ray, a moment ago, Phil talking about the great run for Mike Skinner. It's a team that has struggled at times in 2010, but Phil talked about their recent resurgence. 4th a couple of weeks ago at Bristol. You see Mike left your screen riding in the 6th position. Last week running good at Chicago before they lost the drivetrain on a late pit stop. I talked to the crew earlier today. They said this truck is good as they've been in a while at a place where Mike dominated back in 2007. They're confident as well, Rick.
And just moments ago, Todd Bodine coming on the radio and talking about what they are planning on doing. Let's listen in.
You're all right, old school, man. You just go get them. One more caution will be plenty good. Yeah, I'd like to see it go green right now. If it does, we're going for it. We're a lap and a half short.
If it does, go for it.
And that's our point leader, though.
Yeah, but he's already proven that he's kind of crazy. A big spin off turn 4 with a point lead, racing just to grab 5 points. Todd's committed to having the hammer down. We've seen that. And you know, truthfully, with the big point lead that he has, he can afford to be a little bit crazy and take some chances. And he's wanting to take a chance right here. We heard him say he'd like to see it stay green. He thinks he's a lap and a half short. Well, it gets down to 10 or 15 laps to go. If everybody starts pitting, you start rolling off that gas early, maybe even shutting your motor off and letting it coast some, you might be able to save enough to make another lap and a half if they figured it close enough.
And by the way, he just moved up into the 9th position. What a comeback by this team.
23 trucks are on the lead lap. Will Kimmel running in that 23rd spot, but Todd Bodine, the truck on the move, Adam.
And last week I talked to his crew chief, Mike Hillman Jr., about their big point lead and how do you approach the stretch run of the season in that situation. And he said, we're not even worried about it. We're going to go out and try to win races. And the reason he said that is because in 2006, when Bodine was trying to win a championship down the stretch, they felt like at times they were points racing, and it changed their whole thought process at Germain Racing. He said he felt like they got off their game, and that's why they weren't contending the last couple of years. They've forgotten that. Now they're running for wins, and look where it's got them. A 268-point lead, and they're in the top 10 again.
You know, guys, we know that Todd Bodine finished second to our leader right there, Kyle Busch, last week at Chicago. 9 times those two trucks and drivers have finished 1-2. 7 times it was Kyle Busch winning.
And Kyle Busch is trying to make history once again, looking for that 5th win in a row in the 5 starts that he has made in NASCAR. Wednesday night, Speed Primetime hits the gas at 8. Stealth Rider is all new as Jason Britton saddles up in Houston. Then at 10, 2 different war machines share a common goal on an all-new intersection. Wednesday, beginning at 8 Eastern on Speed. Great battle building here. And you might say, well, Kyle Busch looks like he's got about a 2.5-second lead. He does, but there's more things that are going to play into this race. Ray.
Well, down on my end, Rick, I'm just taking some surveys to see how far the guys can go. Hornaday currently running 3rd. Lofton is up in 4th. They're all pitted down here, and the last time they came to pit road was around lap 78. So when you do those calculations with a couple caution laps, I'm thinking lap 135, maybe as far as 137, these guys can stay out. But if this thing rolls under green, the front runner is certainly going to be heading to pit road. Adam?
And I just talked to Kyle Busch's crew chief, the race leader, and that would be Eric Phillips. Said, what lap do you pit on if it stays green? He said very quickly, lap 130. That would be 22 laps from now. But Phil and Michael, here's my question for you. That would leave you 20 laps to the checkered flag. The last time he put on tires is lap 47. Do you go gas and go, or do you have to put on tires if you pit under green there?
Boy, Adam, right now he's running as fast as he has this entire race. Michael, he just ran a 31.11. That's only a couple tenths slower than the pole.
Well, I think you got to get 2 tires. You're going to need probably about a can of gas. You can about get 2 tires in that amount of time. I don't want to wear through my tires. Sure, they're still fast, but darn, they got to start wearing a little bit, and you just don't want to stretch it out past a full fuel run.
And as you mentioned, it takes about 7 or 8 seconds to put 1 can of fuel in, and that's all it takes to change right side tires. It takes a lot of time to go from the right to the left to get those tires changed. They can do that right side change probably in 6-7 seconds.
But the thing that Rick said and what's heating up is there's some guys that can make it to the finish of this race, or at least they think they can.
They can get close.
They can get really close, so you've got some differing strategies. This could get very interesting as it plays out if the caution doesn't fly.
We already heard Todd Bodine and his crew chief, Mike Hillman Jr. said, we're going for it. We're going to roll the dice even though we're a lap and a half short. Right now, Todd's being shown in the 7th position, and he's the highest running truck that pitted back on lap number 92.
And that truck's 8 seconds behind our leader right now, Kyle Busch.
And that truck's got a lot of speed in it, Todd's does. He ran 31.40 the last time by. That's the fastest truck on the track back in that 7th spot. So see Jason White battling here with James Busher. James a few laps down after that scrub against the outside wall off 4. He slides up the hill. Jason said, I think I'll take my spot back.
Jason White on the inside. Again, not racing for position. Jason White running in the 12th spot, actually drops back to 13th behind Timothy Peters. James Busher has scored 2 laps down. He's in 26th.
Donnie Lee is right behind Jason White. Donnie had a great qualifying effort. Has a good solid run going here for his first time in that 90 truck for Doug Stringer, running up in the 14th spot.
He won maybe one of the most exciting races we've ever had in the Camping World Truck Series in Mansfield. I really don't know. He looked like a bull in a china shop coming to the checker, but it all worked out, right?
I don't know how he could be 3 wide going in turn 3 at Mansfield on the last lap. And all 3 trucks made it through there.
But not without some contact.
A little bit of contact, maybe all the way around. And Donnie Lee emerged victorious.
Kyle Busch, Austin Dillon, Ron Hornaday, Justin Lofton, and Matt Crafton. They're your top 5. How about a guy still on the lead lap, running 17th, Miguel Paludo.
And he's running behind David Starr. David Starr is a many-time winner in this series, always runs competitively, had a top 10 finish last week at Chicago with his first start for S&S Greenlight Racing. And there's Miguel learning it like a sponge.
And the guy behind him there, Steve Park, a couple of cup wins. Not to mention some wins in the Nationwide Series, a truck win. So Steve's won everywhere, and he's trailing Miguel. So Miguel's been very impressive in his young truck career. Making the move around David Starr. That moves him up to the 16th spot. He completes that pass. Steve Park's going to try to come along with him.
Very impressive job by Miguel Paludo and his crew at Bristol. His first ever Camping World Truck Series start. End up with a top 10 finish.
That is impressive. Just to finish at Bristol the first time you've ever been there is one thing, especially no more experience than this guy has on these oval tracks.
Steve Park now trying to get by that 81 of David Starr. Those two racing for the 16th spot. Actually, Steve Park's down 2 laps, so just running for position on the track. David Starr holding on to 17th.
See Dennis Setzer coming up. That is a battle for position between Starr and Setzer, so Starr's going to have some company here for a spot here in a second because Dennis is running down. And look, Park up the hill. And Mario Goslin in that TireMonkey.com truck has joined this battle. So there's battles all over this racetrack. This is for the 16th, 17th spot, and they're battling like it's for the lead.
Mario Goslin told me today that he has acquired another sponsorship for his team, a 4-race deal for a primary sponsor to come on board. That would put Tire Monkey still as one of his sponsors. It would be an associate sponsor, but the primary sponsor is Excel Construction.
Don't you love the way that Mario Goslin did it, though? He came to the series. He bought some trucks from the old Spears team. He ran when he was able to run. There were times when he didn't have the money to run, but he showed up to keep getting experience, and then he worked himself into a sponsor with Tire Monkey. Had a great debut with them at Talladega last year with a top 10 finish, and it's been full-time ever since.
33 laps remaining in the built Ford Tough 225. Stay with us here on Speed. We're away for 90 seconds, and we'll be right back. And welcome back to Kentucky Speedway. Looking for the latest stats and results right from the track. The Speed.com NASCAR stats package includes everything from entry lists to lap summary and penalty report. Stay informed and get more at the NASCAR section of Speed.com. Kyle Busch still out in front of Austin Dillon. He's 3 seconds back. Then Hornaday is 6.5 seconds back. Lofton is about 7 seconds back. And Crafton running 5th is 7 seconds back as well.
Mike Skinner had some sort of a problem coming off turn number 4. Looked like he lost power. Now it appears as though he's back up under his own power, but he's talking on the radio like he thinks something's wrong.
You have to think that possibly that was an ignition failure. They have backup ignitions on these trucks, and you can just flip a switch and go from one to the other. It was backfiring out the pipes, just like maybe the ignition went south on him. But once he flipped it, is what I assume he did. It looks to be running up to speed, but he said it still doesn't feel right.
Skinner running in the 7th spot.
Watch what happens to him coming down the front straightaway. See the fire popping out of the pipes there on the right side, and then all of a sudden, probably flips to the back up ignition, and away he goes.
And now he's back under power again.
Didn't even lose a spot.
Side by side for 4th. Hornaday drops
I think
back.
Hornaday's coming to the pits.
Hornaday making his way onto pit road now. We knew that a few trucks were not going to be able to go all the way to the end. One of those being race leader Kyle Busch, and now Hornaday makes the hard right turn onto pit road. Let's go to Ray Dunlap.
Well, the last time they decided to do whatever Kyle Busch did, and Kevin Buskirk said if we're going to beat him, we're going to have to get out of sequence. So they decided to come a little bit early, half round up on the left rear. When they come around, they're going to put 4 tires on Hornaday's Chevrolet and get him back out to the racetrack. He came in at least 10 laps earlier than he really needed to, but this is what they had to do to try to do something different than the 18.
Ray, I think that's a great move. I mean, he could stay out there for another 10 or 12 laps, but why not get some good out of some new tires here?
Maybe put some tires on, close the ground, the distance between he and Kyle Busch, and be in a position to race Kyle. the way it was going, he wasn't in a position to race him. He was too far behind. So I like that call too, Phil. The only thing that might work too, somebody even running longer than Kyle does and just getting a little gas and go late in the going to try to change strategy and make something of this race for themselves.
Or I don't think it's going to, as we talked earlier, you put right side tires on about as quick as you're able to put enough gas to get to the end. If you're 15, 20 laps short, then you're going to need close to a full can of fuel, and you can change right side tires in that amount of time.
But meanwhile, Todd Bodine runs along in the 5th spot, and he almost has enough gas to get to the finish.
Well, they're going for it.
That's exactly
right. Mike Hillman Jr. said they're going to go for it.
Here comes your leader.
Kyle Busch making his way on the pit road. He slows down. 45 miles an hour is the speed limit on pit road. And Kyle Busch is making his way toward Adam Alexander.
The last time they pitted, lap 77, they got fuel only. At lap 47, he got 4 tires. They have analyzed those tires to help them decide what to do here in that regard. This will be plenty of fuel to go the distance. The last-minute call from crew chief Eric Phillips, right side tires for Busch to save some time on pit road, and they will send him on his way. His green flag pit stop coming at lap 127.
That's at least 8-10 seconds faster than Hornaday was able to make his pit stop. So doing whatever Kyle didn't work out, I don't think, for Ron.
And I think a great call by Eric Phillips, not to let Ron Hornaday gain any ground with those new tires. He said, okay, we'll put our own new tires on here.
Y'all want to play that game? We'll play right along with you.
Austin Dillon, we saw him in the number 3 go by the 18 of Kyle Busch. So that puts Kyle Busch all the way to the back of the lead lap. Todd Bodine running in the 4th spot and potentially can make it if this stays green, but he's going to have to conserve fuel.
Yeah, I'd be rolling out of the gas, Phil. He's going to have a huge lead when this all shakes out, if indeed the green stays out. We don't have a caution.
He just passed Matt Crafton for the 3rd position now. That put Todd up in the 3rd. That's Justin Lofton, about 3 trucks ahead of him, and that's our runner-up driver right now.
Here comes Kyle Busch now trying to get back by Todd Bodine. And again, Busch is actually 1 lap down. He was a lap down when Dillon went by him. So trying to battle his way back. He scored in the 18th position.
There's trucks all the way up to the 14th spot that are 1 lap down.
It's critical for Kyle Busch right now to get by Todd Bodine, because Todd Bodine may stay out if the caution comes out, and then Kyle Busch would not get the waiver out, but he's going to take care of that right now.
Kyle Busch to the inside, goes by Todd Bodine, as Bodine going by the 12 of Mario Goslin.
So right now, I think Kyle Busch is fine. Even if the caution flag comes out, he's a lap down. Well, we know that Austin Dillon and Justin Lofton have to pit. Kyle would just stay on the racetrack for the waiver round and be right back in position.
Yeah, because there's not going to be that many trucks on the lead lap when this all shakes out. The pace that these guys are setting, and with Todd staying out the whole time, he's going to put most everybody a lap down.
Guys that pitted on lap 77 that are still out: Austin Dillon, Justin Lofton, Matt Crafton, Mike Skinner, Donnie Leah, and Miguel Paludo. They still haven't come to pit road. And right. They're in front. They're in essence, they're in front of Kyle Busch right now.
Right now, they're gambling on this race going green the rest of them. They're going to stay out as long as they can. They have to have a caution flag. If they don't get a caution flag, they have no shot. They're going to have to pit under green just like Kyle Busch did.
What are they saying in the 3 pits, Adam?
Well, the boss man is here tonight. That would be one Richard Childress, and he just came on the radio and he said, how much time are you losing on track to those drivers that have been in and gotten tires? To which crew chief Danny Stockman replied, my only chance is to wait and hope the caution comes out and they can wait 5 more laps. 138 is their count, Ray.
Well, for Justin Lofton, he can't go that many. He can probably only go 3 more. So they're saying 136 down here. Mark Red up on the top, and he's calling him. He's saying, I'll let you know when you've got to come in unless you feel something in the truck. Dive to pit road. But right now, 3 more laps for Lofton before they need gas.
Guys, Todd Bodine just passed Justin Lofton to take over that 2nd position. If this race goes green the rest of the way, I'm telling you, Todd Bodine has this. If he has enough fuel to get to the end, he has it locked up.
Isn't it always something? If he has enough fuel. And Richard Childress' question was, how is Austin Dillon's time compared to the people that have pitted? They're faster than. Austin Dillon, the last time by, was the fastest truck on the whole track. He was faster than Kyle Busch. So obviously, Austin's doing the right thing, running these laps and just trying to hopefully catch a caution.
15 laps remain. When Austin Dillon crosses the stripe, only 15 more laps. And I'm thinking, well, Austin Dillon can't make it.
No,
they don't have enough fuel. Todd Bodine could if it stays green.
But Austin could get onto pit road and just get a splash of gas, maybe just a half a can.
Exactly, I agree.
To the point now is all he's going to need. That's going to make up a whole lot of time. And his lap times he's running right now on the track are good enough to keep pace with Kyle Busch. He could come off pit road right with Kyle if he's able to have a quick enough pit stop.
Remember, Austin was the only truck that was even in close contact with Kyle Busch. He was about 2.5 seconds behind Kyle when he made his pit stop. Right now, if Austin could come in and have about a 4 or 5 second pit stop, that means he would beat Kyle's pit stop by about 10 seconds. That may be enough, but it's not going to matter if Todd Bodine has enough fuel to get to the end, and we have enough time, Ray.
And the number 7 was going to go right side tires, but they've decided fuel only. They didn't get it plugged in quite right. 4, 5 seconds, but he goes away with the can, and as the can leaves the pits, that's going to be a penalty for the 7.
Here comes
Austin Dillon on pit road now, the number 3. Dillon's headed your way, Adam.
Danny Stockman, the crew chief, asked him, how is your right front tire? Dillon said it's fine. They have since decided they will put on right side tires, and about 5 seconds of fuel is what they need to make it to the distance by their calculations. This pit stop will come with 13 laps to go. And there you see the right side tires going on. They will top off the fuel tank. Austin Dillon coming in under green.
Just worried about that right front tire wearing out, Rick. That's why those guys decided they had to put tires on, not because of the performance, just because they didn't want to wear through that baby.
Now with that pit cycle going through, that puts Kyle Busch back on the lead lap. Todd Bodine is your race leader.
And Todd Bodine's times are plenty fast enough. If he's able to get to the finish with the gas he's got, he's going to win this baby.
Adam Alexander, what's going on with Mike Skinner?
It's time for him to make his green flag pit stop, Rick. They will go right side tires, as we have seen many times in this cycle of green flag pit stops. Topped off the fuel tank, and Skinner is now good to go the distance.
33 not up to speed. He's slower on the racetrack.
Looks like maybe something's gone wrong with that engine, Phil. He's obviously doesn't have a tire problem, or he would have come to pit road, and he's just getting passed by everybody.
Yeah, Ron right now is being shown 2 laps down. Something's definitely amiss with that 33 truck.
Scored 21st.
His team truck, the 2, broke last week at Chicago, so I wonder if there's something going on with it tonight, Ray.
Hey, Mikey, it's not the engine. They think it's the rear end gear. Ron Hornaday said that it's definitely not getting full power through the driveline, but it's not a motor problem. It's something in the drivetrain.
Tough break for Ron Hornaday.
Yeah, another tough break for Ron Hornaday. It's been a tough season for our defending champion.
I don't know what it could be in the drivetrain that would, unless it was making a racket or something crazy.
I'll tell you, as we're talking about Hornaday running 21st, how about the guy out in front making a huge gamble now? His crew chief has told him they think they're going to be about a lap and a half short, but we're going to go for it. He has taken a huge gamble. He's 8 seconds in front of Johnny Sauter right now, who's running second. Do you get out of the gas, and do you try to conserve?
Well, you definitely try to save some gas. He's got that such a huge lead right now. He can really be easy in, easy on the throttle. He needs to save some gas, Michael.
That's exactly right. He needs to win by about a half a second, Rick. He needs to use every bit of that lead to get all the gas mileage he can get.
A great run for Ricky Carmichael in the 4th spot, Ray.
Yeah, and Doug Randolph, his crew chief's been telling him, save me a little fuel, and Ricky said, I'm not totally sure I know how to do that. But remember, they were on pit road the last time at lap 91. They said, for sure we're okay to make it to the end as long as there's not a green-white checker.
Ricky Carmichael's best finish in the Camping World Truck Series is a 4th place finish. That was at Dover. So looking to equal that mark potentially tonight. It's Todd Bodine, Johnny Sauter, Eric Almirola, Ricky Carmichael, and Jason White. They're your top 5. Those 5 trucks are separated by 12.6 seconds.
And all those trucks have to be in the same shape on gas. If one of them runs out, all 5 of them are liable to. We've got our first 7 trucks on the track pitted on the same lap 92, and are trying to stretch it all the way to the checker. That's just outside of these trucks' window of fuel.
Yeah, right now, Kyle Busch is being shown in the 8th position as we watch our leader, Todd Bodine. And Kyle, 27.5 seconds behind our leader, Todd Bodine.
7 laps now goes to 6. 6 more times around Kentucky Speedway. How about Johnny Sauter running in the 2nd spot, Adam?
And Rick, Michael Waltrip just talking about the fact that those top 7 trucks last pitted at lap 92. Remember what happened to Johnny Sauter at Bristol? He ran out of fuel late in the race. He is one that is very concerned as we close on the end of this event here at Kentucky.
I'm very concerned too. This is making me nervous. Tom Bodine's got the lead. We got our first 7 trucks that are all going to be really close on gas. The fastest truck all night long has been Kyle Busch. He's all the way back in the 8th spot, 20-some seconds behind our leader. So this race is, you said it earlier, Rick, things are going to really go crazy between when we were speaking and the checker, and that's exactly what's happened.
Another solid run for that 51 truck of Eric Almirola. You see him right now running 3rd, moving by the lap truck of David Starr. Justin Lofton right behind him. Justin now, unfortunately, being shown a lap down as we watch Ron Hornaday leaving pit road yet again.
Yeah, Justin's team had a pit penalty. He drug his gas can out of the pit, and that's made him put him a lap down. What's going on, Ray?
Well, they're still not sure down here in Hornaday's pit. They think maybe it was something in the right front wheel, so they put right side tires on. He's going to go back to the track and see if that fixed a problem. But so far, no one has said whether or not there were loose lug nuts.
So Hornaday making his way back out onto the racetrack. Todd Bodine now has an 8-second lead over Johnny Sauter, closing in on the final 3 laps of this race. Does he have enough fuel? Bodine, 3 to go.
He's rolling off that gas, guys. Last time by, he was able to still run around 32.2.
He still has a 7.5-second lead with 3 laps to go. Back off, Michael, back off.
More. Slow down, Todd. And you know what the driver said? I'm trying to slow down, guys, but I'm speeding up.
4th and 5th. There's Ricky Carmichael. Here comes Jason White trying to take that 4th spot away. A little contact. Jason White gets sideways.
Woo. That's close. Inside of 5 laps to go.
They are racing for the spots here as we get down to the final 2 laps of racing. Does Todd Bodine have enough fuel to make it all the way around?
Well, they said they were a lap and a half short.
This is about the time he should run out.
There, he's a lap and a half away from the finish. It should have went dry right there unless Todd's done a good job saving that man, Mike Hillman Jr., some gas.
There's the gas can just in case. Todd Bodine coming out of turn 4. He will see the white flag. It's one more time around Kentucky Speedway. Can he hang on? Does he have enough fuel? Johnny Sauter just 7 seconds back from Todd Bodine.
If that thing burps, Johnny Sauter's going to be there in a flash.
Bodine down the backstretch. He doesn't look as though he's slowing down. Can he make it? Another half lap at Kentucky. So good on the 1.5-mile racetracks, but he has never won at this racetrack. Coming through 3 and 4 and out of 4. Todd Bodine's going to win at Kentucky.
I tell you, he had a great truck, but that truck was maybe won by that pit call by Mike Hillman Jr. This race was won by him coming in on lap number 92 and rolling the dice.
What about all these guys that got some great finishes because of their pit strategy? You know, finishes that maybe they wouldn't have gotten otherwise. Jason White all the way up in the 4th spot. Eric Almirola struggled early, winds up finishing 3rd. Ricky Carmichael, another top 5 for him.
Timothy Peters bounced off the wall early, finishes in the 6th place. And how about Ryan C. gets an 8th place finish right behind Kyle Busch.
The final truck on the lead lap. We had 8 trucks finishing on the lead lap tonight, and celebration already beginning for Mike Hillman Jr. We go down to Adam.
Rick, sometimes you got to work harder than others. You earned this one tonight. Talk about the way you were able to battle back and get the win.
That's our motto here at Germain Racing. These guys never give up. They give 110% day in and day out. We tore this truck up a little bit at Chicago. The guys met the truck driver at the shop Saturday night, had it ready to go in the body shop Sunday morning. Monday morning we were putting a motor in it, getting it ready to come to Kentucky. I'm just so proud of everybody here at Germain Racing. You know, we've won a lot of them, we've lost some of them, and we got one tonight.
What was the level of concern down the stretch on fuel?
There was a level of concern, a little nervous. I don't know if we're going to have to go push him to victory lane. He started saving fuel. Once we drove away from Johnny and we knew we had 6 or 7 seconds over him, we started saving fuel. So just proud of all these guys.
Congratulations on another win.
Thank you.
Mike Hillman Jr. celebrating for a 12th time with his driver on a 1.5-mile track, Rick.
And remember, he was trying to get by Kyle Busch got loose sideways.
Spun out.
Part of the deck lid flies off of that truck. He spins out into the grass.
Watch this, Rick. This is, Mike Hillman Jr. said we don't give up, we go for it. This is going for it by Todd Bodine. Watch this move. He thinks he's got Kyle Busch cleared. He goes to exit the corner. Kyle sneaks back on the outside, and around he goes.
He's trying to get 5 points. He wanted to get to the start-finish line to get 5 points. Part of his bed panel flies off, and he gets those 5 points a little bit later and wins this thing.
That crew goes to work. They screw on the extra bed panel that had flown off, as you mentioned.
Austin Dillon pitted. When Austin Dillon pitted, he was one of the last leaders to make that pit stop. Todd Bodine grabbed the lead and never looked back.
Rolled out front and had enough fuel to win at Kentucky Speedway. His 21st NASCAR Camping World Truck Series win in his 158th start.
And he still has fuel.
He has enough fuel, it looks like, to drive to victory lane, and that's where we will hear from him. Todd Bodine victorious again in the Camping World Truck Series. Stay with us. The Built Ford Tough 225 just concluding, and the man in victory lane is Todd Bodine. Let's go down and hear from him.
And Rick, for the 21st time in his Camping World Truck Series career, Todd Bodine climbing out a winner. And the leap onto the crew. So you get your 4th win of 2010, but some adversity to battle through tonight. Where does this one rank?
Oh, man. First person I got to thank is Kyle Busch for driving dirty, sucking me down, and getting me spun out to give us the gas. I mean, that's why we won the race. I mean, we had a great truck. Don't get me wrong. I mean, that thing, this Toyota Tundra was incredibly fast. When I got up behind Kyle, you know, I got aero tight, which that's what happens. And I backed off, just kind of riding there, trying to keep the right front on, waiting for later. And I mean, lo and behold, got sucked around, got some fuel. Here we are, victory lane. It's awesome. I got to thank all the fans. Kentucky fans here are awesome. Everybody watch on TV, thank you. Yeah, this Toyota Tundra is awesome.
What about the crew and the job they did under caution to keep you on the lead lap and to make sure the truck was where it needed to be so you could go back out and compete?
That's every week. I mean, I say it every time we get up here, but these guys are incredible. Cousin Mike on the fuel, I mean, he beat everybody out when we took the fuel only. I mean, that was part of what got us up front. I mean, these guys are awesome. They do a great job in the shop. They do a great job on pit road every week. That's what makes a great championship team, is consistency. You know, they may not be the fastest, although they are, but they're consistent. They don't make mistakes. That's what you got to do, is not make mistakes. 7
races to go. You guys haven't talked a lot about championship. Can you open the door now with the lead you have in another victory?
No, you can't, because you know, anything can happen, just like getting sucked around. You know, luckily we didn't back it in the wall. If we'd have backed in the wall, we wouldn't be sitting in victory lane. I mean, that's luck. That's racing luck. That's what you got to have be able to get a championship. Just incredible night. Believe it or not, this is the first time that all of my owners have been at a race that we've won. All 3 Germain brothers are here, and it's awesome.
It'll be a fun ride home tonight. The lead for Bodine, 261 as we head to New Hampshire in a couple of weeks. To Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Adam. Of course, that is a big point lead for Todd Bodine, but Johnny Sauter doing what it takes on the racetrack. A 2nd place start and a 2nd place finish. You happy with that?
Yes and no. Our farm pate curb record Chevy was good. We got out there in clean air at the beginning of the night, and I thought, man, we were going to have a good, solid night, and we just got back in traffic every time we pitted, so we just clean air is everything in these races, you know, and you can get those guys on fresh tires the first 10 laps. You got a pretty big advantage, but everybody equals out after that. So great call by Joe and all the guys to bring me down and get gas and tires there. And he kind of had a hunch, I guess, that it was going to go green the rest of the way. So I argued with him, and he made the right call. Hats off to those guys. And we had a 4th, 5th place truck all night, and we got 2nd out of it. So we just still got some work to do, I guess. And nonetheless, we probably didn't gain very much ground on the points tonight. Todd wins, obviously, and Eric's right behind me. So just got to keep going to him. Loudon's our next race, and I feel like I'm pretty damn good there. So I think we'll win that race and see where we end up.
All right, that's the way to do it. Johnny Sauter finishes 2nd tonight here at Kentucky.
As the numbers go, 261 points, the difference between 1 and 2 in the point standings. And with 7 races to go, that is the largest points lead in the history of the Camping World Truck Series. Welcome back. Celebration still continuing in victory lane. Well, for the most part, Todd Bodine has the hardware, and he was just confronted by the guy who led the most laps today. Kyle Busch had led 73 laps and obviously disappointed with how his race ended up.
Kyle Busch has now been to victory lane 5 straight weeks.
He's been to victory lane 5 straight weeks, but this time
he didn't get the trophy.
His truck was not in there. This is what we were talking about. Here's Todd Bodine, and all of a sudden, in will walk in street clothes Kyle Busch. And I think he might have been listening to our broadcast.
I'm sure he was listening to the broadcast where Todd said that Kyle was driving dirty. And Kyle took offense to those comments and came to victory lane to explain that to Todd. And in Kyle's defense, I don't think Kyle was driving dirty.
Poor choice of words,
yes.
I think, by Todd. Now, certainly, Kyle could, contributed to Todd's truck being sucked around, but that's racing. We see that happen all the time.
Yeah, he gave him plenty of room. He entered the corner, gave him room, and Kyle was just racing. So I understand Kyle being upset and wanting to explain that to Todd. Let me tell you something about that young man right there. You take him and Kevin Harvick both. They don't have to be here in the Truck Series. When we checked in the hotel yesterday, there was a line of about 12 people. All of them had Kyle Busch Motorsports shirts on. That's because he wants to be here. Here's the issue that he's talking about. He said Kyle was driving dirty. There's nothing to that. I think Todd was just upset he spun out, and that wasn't anything dirty there. But my point is, Kyle and Kevin both, they don't have to be here racing these trucks, and they're providing people with jobs, and they're making it fun for us to watch.
And they want to be here. And Kyle said before the race, this didn't interfere with anything he had to do this week in Atlanta, so hey, why not? And I appreciate the fact that he's here supporting this series, and I'm like you. I mean, that certainly wasn't driving dirty. Again, a poor choice of words by Todd.
Certainly. But the point is, we need people like Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick to be here and support this series, and I'm glad they're here. And I'm also glad they get beat sometimes. It's fun to see new people in victory lane, and like you said, Todd was just a little over exuberant there with his choice of words, I think.
Adam Alexander with a top 5 finisher.
It's always good to see new faces in the top 5 as well, Rick. One of them tonight being Ricky Carmichael. And when you look at the run of bad luck your team has had in recent weeks, this has to be very good, huh?
It does. It definitely makes up for it. We've, like you said, the last 5 weeks, we've been running top 10s and something happens or whatever. But this time we were on the other side of the token, and I never really felt comfortable all night until the last run, the one that counted. And luckily we were on the good side of the token. And I can't thank enough for Monster Energy for being on board, and all the guys at the shop for their hard work. I mean, I don't think we could have got any lower, but we kept trying, and glad to get another top 5. It's been too long, and hopefully we can get the momentum going and get back up there in points.
Good truck, good strategy equals second top 5 of the year for Ricky Carmichael.
Take a look at our point standings after 18 races. Todd Bodine with a 261-point lead over Eric Almirola.
Phil, if you say it one more time, I'm going to punch you.
I'm not going to say anything. It's a big point lead. I will agree with you.
Austin Dillon, Matt Crafton back there tied for that 6th spot. 440 points back from Todd Bodine. Stay with us here on Speed. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series is presented on Speed by Ford. Drive one. Brought to you in part by Verizon, the network with the most 3G coverage. And by Camping World. The Camping World Destination Recreation Sweepstakes is back and better than ever. Camping World is offering more prizes and more chances to win. Visit campingworld.com and enter today.
You know, I want to go to Ray Dunlap's house and see his motif. He likes all that checkered flag stuff so much.
Let's hear from Eric Almirola. He's with Adam.
Eric Almirola finishes 3rd tonight at Kentucky, but Todd Bodine wins. So satisfaction or frustration with how this thing continues to go?
Frustration for sure. We didn't have a good enough truck anyway tonight. We struggled with our truck just being really up on top of the racetrack. We didn't have the grip we needed all night. So I'm more disappointed with how our truck handled than Todd winning or us finishing 3rd. It was a great call to come and get tires and gas right there when we were in our fuel windows. So proud of Richie and all the guys on our Graceway Pharmaceuticals team. We had a decent truck tonight, but it just wasn't good enough.
See you in New Hampshire.
I'll be there.
So you could say it's just a little bit of a gamble for the 23 team. Did you make the decision or crew chief?
Well, we all talked about it before the race. We knew our pit window. We were running 7th when we came in. When we came out, we were running 11th, and we were right on the edge within a lap or two. So it was a good night. We were right there all night, and I was excited to finish a race, and to get a top 5 was pretty cool.
How about that Ford?
A 4th, and a 7th. They're pretty good. Built Ford tough, I guess.
All right. Jason White.
Let's take a look at our Edge Products unofficial results. Again, Bodine with his 21st career win in the Camping World Truck Series.
Remember, the 6 trucks finishing 1 through 6 all pitted back on lap number 92 when they had the opportunity on that caution, and they were all able to make it the rest of the way.
Along with Ryan Sieg, great finish for him down in the 8th spot. Kyle Busch was the only one of the first 8 who did pit.
Justin Lofton had a strong truck tonight, comes home in the 11th position.
Yeah, I said he was penalized about taking his gas can out of his pit. That actually was incorrect. He didn't get called for that. That's just where he wound up since he made that pit stop.
See, Will Kimmel gets a 21st place finish in his debut here in the Camping World Truck Series.
These cats all failed to finish tonight. Norm Benning all the way through Tim Andrews.
So a great night of racing for Kentucky Speedway. Todd Bodine's going to continue to celebrate, winning the Built Ford Tough 225. Stay with us. And welcome back to Kentucky Speedway. Again, the Built Ford Tough 225 has concluded in victory lane.
After Todd had already talked to us, Kyle Busch came in and confronted Todd. And so there were words exchanged between the two of those drivers, and we'd like to find out what it was or what was said. So let's go to Ray.
Well, I'm down here, and let's find out from the horse's mouth. What was going on when Kyle came to victory lane? What do you have to say?
He wasn't happy that I called him out on TV. You know, it's a shame that he's such a good kid, and when you get him away from this racing atmosphere and he's off just being Kyle, he's a good kid and he's a lot of fun. I've been there with him, but you put him behind the wheel and he thinks he owns the racetrack, and he doesn't cut anybody a break. You know, and if this was an isolated incident, I'd let it slide. I wouldn't worry about it. But he drives that way in every division, every week, and I called him out and he didn't like it.
Well, and here's the news, guys. Kyle Busch is going to Atlanta. You know how he's getting there? On the Germain airplane.
Maybe a long
Look at
flight.
that. All 3 of the Germain brothers are smiling over there. Yep, that's right.
You think Todd's going to get on there with him?
How about our next race in 2 weeks? New Hampshire 175. That's Saturday, September 18th. A great afternoon race there. Todd Bodine, he struggled when Kyle Busch went by. He got sideways. Their team went to work and got him back out on the racetrack. Enough fuel to get all the way to victory lane. He wins for the 21st time in his career.
In 2 weeks, the Camping World Truck Series heads north to the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Last year, a quick pit stop helped to put Kyle Busch in victory lane. Will a pit stop put somebody in victory lane this year, or will it put somebody in the back of the pack? Chris DeBoda hosts the setup starting at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, followed by flag-to-flag coverage, only on Speed.